Welcome, everybody, to MogTalk. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community, discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. If you guys are unfamiliar with what we're doing today, it's going to be a lore show. We're going to have a lore and story show. The last MogTalk of Endwalker is upon us today, and hopefully this will give people over the next couple of days something to chew on while waiting for the expansion to come out, since you can't log into the game anyways.
48 hours.
48 hours.
Too many.
Oh, crud, dude.
We can help you kill two.
The what?
So we can help you kill 2 hours.
We can give you 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours at least. Okay. But yeah, no, I brought on the amazing cast we had for our last lore show where we discussed Solution 9 in its entirety. And now we're just going to talk about things in general going into Dawntrail. The show is going to be a mix of really simple lore that people who spend lots of time will be like, I fucking don't know that, why you even talked about it. Then we're going to have the really in-depth stuff sprinkled in there. So if you really want the in-depth stuff, you're going to have to kind of pay attention a little bit, okay? All right, so I'm not really good with it. I need to be lore-splained sometimes, okay? And so that's why I have 3 amazing guests here to help me with that.
What a way to explain it.
Let's start with Moose. Moose, can you tell everybody who you are real quick, just so we can get that rolling?
I don't even know who I am. What I usually like to say is just that I've been here forever. That's really kind of my role. So what would you say is like my big thing now, aside from just like knowing lore?
Sure, yeah.
That's really just it.
Moose has been on the show for almost all of our lore shows, and I mean, there's a handful maybe way back when you weren't on, but Moose is a veteran lore mongerer.
It all kind of started in the lore forums, and then it went to like lore interviews, and then it went to like editing lore books. It's just been
there you go. See, I want everyone to know he did that. By the way,
Yeah.
This guy's quality assurance of the lore books, and he tries to act like it's a small thing. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it like I don't know like what scale of thing it is. Like quality assurance is fun.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you're involved.
I can use the book.
I missed something.
Involved officially with the lore book and making sure it's good. And you have been punched on stage by Koji. And
It's a moment in my life.
you were also the. Were you on the Gillionaire where you were the lore master? Was that?
Yeah, digital fan fest. Yeah.
Yeah.
The phone a friend feature.
Yeah. Yeah. So just big guy, big name that doesn't like to stream. All right. There we go. But thank you, Moose, for coming on.
I'm reading that my mic quality has tanked. Is that what's going on?
It does sound like it's like topping out somewhere, so I don't know, maybe it's picking up from the wrong source. But it's okay. It will fix it. Well, you can look and see if there's a way to fix it. I don't know. But it feels like if I would have to guess, the gain was really high on it. But I don't know.
What I can do is I can pop in and pop out and see if it fixes it.
Pop in and yeah, do it. Let's.
Would that break everything?
It's okay. You can. It's fine. I mean, it sounds like it might be coming from the wrong source. Is the only thing.
All right. I'm checking in all the sources there, but sometimes Discord mixes them up, which is why I was going to do the pop in, pop out, and see if it fixed it.
Yeah, try it. Okay? Do it. It'll be fine. There we go.
Get decapitated by the fruit cut.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah. Oh, Discord.
Uh-oh.
Oh, if he doesn't come back, then that would be sad, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll be back here in a second. I gotta drag him in. That's right. I forgot. I have to drag Moose in. I completely forgot. All right, Moose, you want to try again?
We're gonna try.
Test.
That's okay. Try. Just say something very controversial about lore.
All the things that came to my mind first are not going to go well.
Okay, I do hear. It still sounds kind of the same.
Damn.
But it just sounds like it's just a cheap mic or something. So, but I can hear you and understand you. So it's okay too. You can look at it while we're kind of going and doing like the introductions here. All right.
I'll try.
Can you tell everybody who you are?
Oh man, resident raider, lore gremlin, cosplayer, Asian enthusiast. I wear many hats, and somehow I get to stick around. Though I guess today I was summoned as the resident Asian enjoyer, for better or for worse of everyone in this call.
Oh, okay. I thought we were done with them. You know. Let's not start that. Let's not start that yet.
Yeah, that's why I was like, we can't start this now.
That's for the later part of the show.
I have opinions, and they are not the majority of what I've seen on Twitter, at least. So.
Oh, great! I love when Twitter disagrees with opinions. It's the best.
Oh wait,
All right.
Maybe this isn't a good idea. Actually,
Crow, would you like to tell everybody who you are?
Alrighty. Well, yeah, just lore guy. Came here to celebrate because we're going on vacation, right? Right,
Yeah.
we're going on vacation.
Summer
Right?
vacation.
That's summer vacation. So what's the most important part of summer vacation is the get up. So that's why we got this awesome shirt on here. But just celebrating the normal way, right? With our awesome
Mountain Dew!
promotions.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that's amazing. I got my Mountain Dew over here too, guys.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's green screen, but I got it. I got it. Oh gosh.
Just really excited for a new expansion. I do lore stuff. I've been all over the place.
Yeah,
Just covering everything, I guess.
that's exactly
But,
why you're here.
Yeah.
So,
the local traveler, so I'm just going
well, I
around.
mean, like, you guys were all on the Solution 9 episode, and that went really well. I had a lot of fun with that, and I said we'd come back together again, and here we are.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a person of my word. Okay. But you guys were talking about vacation. How we're going on vacation. I couldn't find any non-green Hawaiian shirts to put on to be part of the crew here, but that's okay. In our vacation, we're just going to go over to this nice island and then figure out who's supposed to be ruling it. This big competition between like 3 things, right? And then we're going to start going into alternate realities and different dimensions and different universes and different video games, and it's all going to get mixed together into one giant, wonderful vacation. So
Yeah.
Finally, a change of pace.
Yeah, a change of pace.
nothing will go wrong, and then 2 levels in, everything has gone completely to shit again.
Yeah, I mean, we saved our universe. Now I guess we just need to save multiple universes,
The others.
right? The
Yeah,
multiverse.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
that
Okay.
hurt me too. Moose, okay?
Multiverse shenanigans are my bane, man.
I don't like them.
It's okay. They could be interesting, but they're usually so much. It just gives you so much room for just complete bullshit, and literally story is so hard to like keep. Like anything can. It turns into the anything can happen, and it makes it kind of. When the rules go out the door, it's just more just fluff and fun, right? That's how it always feels like to me. But
We have cars. So.
I mean, we do have cars. All right. Well, yeah, okay, Moose, let's do this. It's okay. Your mic's fine. It'll be okay. Give us a rundown. At no longer than 5 minutes, okay? You get cut off at 5 minutes. What are we doing in this game? And what are we doing in the expansion? Why does all this matter in the expansion? For someone who doesn't really understand anything about lore, they maybe haven't done a cutscene watch in like 2 years or something like that. Just catch everybody up.
All right, so we just saved the universe. We were like the chosen of the Mother Crystal. We went on this whole adventure in Eorzea, and then we saved the universe. And now you're gonna forget all that. I'm not gonna waste any of my 5 minutes on that. That's over. Closure. Done. Dusted. We are starting a new story. We are going to a new continent, and pretty much everything we see allegedly is going to be pretty new. There might be some connections to some stuff we've seen in the past. I don't imagine it'll be completely void of connections to that, but most of what we're seeing in the build-up and most of what you need to know going in is pretty new. So do you want to just start with like what the story of Dawntrail?
Yeah, that'd be like, so like, just to make sure everything's new, we're gonna get new friends. We're not gonna see the same characters that we've been with for like the last 10 years or anything, right? We're gonna get new characters and new best buddies. No? Oh, okay.
It's a little bit each column. Little column A, little column B.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but that's good. That's good moves.
So we save the universe, we get back, and we're immediately dragged into a new scenario. Over in the New World, which we're not going to call that anymore, we're going to call it Tyrol. There is a nation called Tulayulal, which is only about 80 years old. It was like there were a whole lot of tribes that lived in different kind of civilizations. And then 80 years ago, one Mammal Jaw kind of conquered it all, and a new diverse nation rose from the ashes. So now this guy who brought it all together is passing on the throne. And there are 4 potential claimants to the throne. And one of them has contacted us to help ensure that they're the one who wins the throne. And the contest is going to be like a hunt for a mythical city of gold.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the way this all gets started is Aaronville comes in with a childhood friend named Woklamat, and they immediately kind of drag us into this scenario, and we're like, actually, I've had some experience with being just like this random outsider who comes in as like a foreign champion and kind of like upsets all the civilizational stuff. Are you sure that that's a good idea? And they're like, no, this time it's culturally sensitive, because what's going on is we're encouraged to bring foreign champions into it, because the leader of Tyrol needs to be like good at navigating politics with myriad diverse people. So, I mean, like, how better do you show off that you can do that than you drag foreigners into your hunt for the city of gold, right? Because, I mean, if like they agree to cooperate with you, you must be pretty good at this.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's part of a dice roll, I guess, because Armville is like, you know, childhood friend. Okay, I got the connection. All right, done. But you know, what's the other dude? The cat dude. Yeah.
That's
he's like, oh well, I kind of got the other half, I guess, right? I don't get the Warrior of Light. I get the buddies of the Warrior of Light.
Yeah. So the other 3 claimants, we've got Koana, who's like a Makote, also adopted by the Dawn Servant. So Woklamat and Koana are adopted by the current leader. Koana is brilliant, practical, studied at the Studium in Charleon. And you'll notice that there's like a mystery going on. Like the people who aren't in our group, like we've got Alize, Alphino, Kryl, Aaronville, and Woklamat. But you'll notice that like there's a slide that says the Scions are going to be divided, and you see this scene where Urianger and Thancred are talking about being hired by someone who's seeking Archons, and that they might come into conflict with us. So you got to figure, like, here are the 3 claimants for the throne, okay, that are not Woklamat. We've got Zoral Ja, who commands the Landsguard. The foremost candidate, there's Bakul Jaja, who has like no ties to the Dawn Servant, but won the ability to challenge the throne in a tournament. He's contemptuous of others and might even be planning to invade Eorzea one day. And then there's Koana, who is again a Makote who studied at the Studium in Charleon. Now, of those 3, which one do you think is most likely to be hiring Archons and using the word Archon when they say they're looking to hire Archons?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was spoiled because of the media tour, I guess. So I literally saw the dude running with the other guy, so I mean, like,
that's amazing.
I kind of know.
I'm guessing it's the cowboy.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so that's good. Did you know my powers of deduction have not completely waned in the last expansion?
It's perfect.
So you're gonna get involved in this mess. You're gonna, I mean, there should be everything, right? I don't need to like guide you through the zones of the game that we're gonna end up in, right?
That's a good intro. Anyone who didn't really know what the hell was going on in the game has the gist of what's going on now, right? And it kind of pieces it together. And the reason why I like doing those kind of just, I don't know, reminders is because a lot of people who play the game, they play every 3 to 4 months, and they do the main story quest for 2 hours every 3 to 4 months. And forget everything. And it's been a little bit since we did the main story quest. So it's good to just get that refresher, all right? And I think this expansion, at first, when we were presented with it, was tropical adventure, golden city, things like that. And then they flipped it on its head and said, hey, guess what? You're going to Neo Tokyo as well, and doing a whole bunch of other crazy shit, which we had a whole episode on Solution 9, which we probably have way more information to talk about in regards to Solution 9 too than we did back then. So it's really difficult to figure out what's the best way to even tackle a kind of conversation like this, because I'm sure a lot of people are interested in kind of what we have learned since we had our last episode in general overall, right? About the story and everything else, from the media tour to live letters to just new information to patch notes, right? All of these things give us like some sort of implication that there's something more for us to know about the lore and story before we even get in there. So a lot of this episode, we're going to be theory crafting in a way, story, and what we believe is going to happen from what we've seen. What, Moose, do you already, for some reason, I feel like you already have something prepped.
Prepped? I've got like a whole document prepped. What do you want?
Okay.
I've got a spreadsheet if you want me to go grab it, but I mean, we did a spreadsheet last time.
It's okay. You tell me whatever you want me to do and pull up on the screen. I'll pull it up on the screen. Either way, what are around the table? What are some of our thoughts, things that are on your mind right now as we're going into Dawntrail? What are you thinking about? And since Moose has talked a little bit now, let's start with M here.
Oh man, that's dangerous.
Yeah, let's go.
Because it's a lot of what I've been doing lately is in kind of getting ready for Dawntrail is a lot of Final Fantasy XI, and I keep finding these niche little things that they have been dropping into the promo content for Dawntrail, where I'm like, oh, are they actually going in this direction? So it's little things from environmental design to mildly quoting certain characters in the story trailer, to narrative parallels that are kind of traveling along the same road right now. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they incorporate that, because 11 did something very similar where they had their big arc where they took down gods and this universe-ending threat, and then they're like, I'll go on vacation, and it will be a great time and nothing will go wrong. And I finished that expansion, and I had to sit there and kind of cry for longer than I did when I finished Endwalker, because it hit so hard. So wow. I'm mostly thinking about preparing myself for the narrative to completely veer in a direction that will leave me yet another emotional wreck. But also, there's so many things in 11 that like deserve to see the light of day, because it's kind of the roots that 14 came from. So that's kind of what I'm prepping for Dawntrail wise. I look forward to seeing how they follow through on implementing a lot of these like world ideas.
So I question, I guess, is you think that 11's going to spread itself throughout the expansion in its entirety, not just in the Alliance raid?
Right, but in a more of a thematic sense, you know how like a lot of Endwalker also had ties to Final Fantasy IV, very specifically with the music, when you go see the Loporrits on the moon, to like the whole concept of our town that they had up there, even to like the Four Fiends. We're already seeing some enemy design and naming conventions from the media tour. Thank you, Frosty. That harken back to 11, again, as well as some of like the symbols and things that are just kind of set dressing for now, but things don't tend to stay set dressing for long, so my head is already kind of trying to get those things together. So I think it's mostly going to be parallels, not a one-for-one thing, but 14 is very much a love letter to other Final Fantasy games. We're getting a lot of 9, and I hope that we're getting as much 11 as I'm expecting. I am also a little biased. I love 11.
That's fair. I mean, I literally know almost nothing about 11 outside of what I hear from our raid nights and previous forced conversations about it. Maybe one day I'll get into 11. If this expansion has a moment where it kind of halts with content at any point. I don't know if it will. Maybe on like 7.5. I don't know.
I could drag you through the story. It'll be fine.
All right.
All
right, Crow.
We got a commitment.
What's on your mind, lore wise and story wise?
Oh, so there's a lot of really cool aesthetic that they've been showing off that I'm really hyped to get into, of course. So just for reference sakes, right? So my brother-in-law is from Chile, right? So I've been trying to get him to play Final Fantasy. And now Dawntrail is like the perfect opportunity, right? Because it's literally referencing Chilean aesthetic. And I'm just like, look, man, like you want a llama. You can get a llama now. Like you can actually have one. And I'm hyped to be able to catch all of those kind of like cultural aesthetics because I've had several years living in and amongst that area. And so, I got this llama pen for taking notes.
It's alpaca.
Right? Yeah, see that too. We got alpacas and llamas. I'm hoping they reference both. Yeah, you are true. You are absolutely.
I can't let Llama Todd win this, right? No, he's not going to win this connection.
It's an alpaca. It's an alpaca.
Yeah, alpaca Todd. You go with that.
We have the opportunity to embrace these references, right? So it's going to be pretty exciting. And another thing I noticed, what was it on Twitter? There was a conversation about the naming conventions again. Trying to pronounce those. Those are going to be fun. I love trying to pronounce indigenous names because I know half the time I'm going to get it wrong. And then just finding out what the actual word is, then you're just like, you kind of just sit there and like, oh man, I'm never going to be able to say this word. Like, so it's going to be fun to try to listen to discussions about like a lore discussion about this place. And then you're just trying to say the name and you're like, you know what? We're going to call it this instead. And it's like trying to have a discussion about any of these places. It's going to be great. I'm stoked for that for sure.
This is going to be a rough one for me, expansion-wise, the names.
And it takes practice. Like I won't lie. A lot of the sounds that you're going to hear in this expansion probably took a lot of practice for the VAs too. So you're gonna hear someone say something. You're like, it's like, yeah, you're just gonna have to listen to it over and over again and just try to say things. But
yeah,
I think it's okay for the most part. I know, I'm already excited about like just catching all of those and then showcasing the background behind that and being like, hey, this is from this place. For example, my mom's from Trinidad, so now I get to embrace the Caribbean aesthetic and be like, hey, this is, they've already talked about a potential Caribbean analog, right? We already have field exploration, which means field notes, which means I'm going to be spending hours grinding. Again, like I like Bosnia. I say I have a love-hate relationship with Bosnia because the drop rates were awful, but the lore dump was great. So I hope to whatever shades, the shades triangle, the Bermuda Triangle reference they got. I want to see what that's going to be all about. And if it gives us those lore notes again, grinding those out because it's like, yes, I'm all about that. And then of course, Final Fantasy Texas.
Final Fantasy Texas, yeah.
I will have to say this. It is my favorite thing about this expansion specifically, finding various people being like, oh, hey, I've heard that this place looks like Texas. And it's like, no, yeah, it does. And they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, no, like I've actually walked down places in real life that look like Shalawani. Like it's not, that's not an exexaggeration. That was my back door at one point.
Did you have the old Western Saloon Town thing that they showed us?
Because we got the cacti everywhere, right?
Yeah.
When you're living in Texas, it's dry, it's flat. right? And you can just go most of the like hiking areas and stuff like that look just like that.
Yeah.
So when they say, "Hey, look, it's Texas," they're not. It's not an exaggeration. That's literally Texas, and we're gonna. So I hope to see all the the aesthetic, the Western style G poses out there. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be having.
I'm gonna get so tired of all of the cowboy hats that we're gonna see in that
all the
zone.
cowboy hat references.
And all of the dialogue is gonna have like that kind of like southern, like all the apostrophes they're gonna throw on all the end of the words.
No, it's gonna be great. We love the various references, and then everything that's gonna have some sort of like connection to that that style. That's what I'm excited to get into. Gonna unpack all of it. So yeah, just gonna be
it is gonna
culture
be
diving for the most part.
3 days, guys. 2.5.
That's so much.
Really.
I got notebooks. We got to take notes.
Oh my gosh. All right.
New
back.
notebook.
Let's get back to Moose and see if he's ready to spill out whatever he is prepared.
So what am I thinking about? What am I excited about?
Yeah.
I've got kind of like 3 things, and they kind of ascend from sane to insane.
Let's start with the sane. Let's stick with sane.
We can start with
build up.
Most of the things that I'm thinking about don't matter at all and make for like a very strange show, and most of them are only like one sentence.
That's MogTalk. Don't worry.
So I won't waste too much time on those, but I've got like every time I start trying to figure out some like big meaningful lore thing, my brain just wanders away to like, hey, did you notice that one of the places is named like Jiraljaw Juicecraft? Like, what are Juicecraft quests? I'm so excited for Juicecraft quests.
Juice.
Go back to trying to figure out like, oh, who's the enigmatic maiden? And then my brain wanders away like, hey, do you think the last zone is going to be Loazeni Hita? Because like that name's on the map, but they haven't told us anything about it. And I go back and I'm like trying to think like, hey, why did he tell us that he wanted us to like read the Alo Alo lore? Because we did a whole show on Alo Alo lore, so I probably know the thing he wants me to know, right? But my brain's too busy wandering away like, is Ketenram alive? Are we going to eat freeze-dried Popoto stew with him? So it's like it's really hard to stay on topic.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, as a fun one-liner, I noticed that they changed the name of tribal quests again. So it was
I saw that. Yeah.
It was Beast Tribe. Yeah. So it was Beast Tribes, and then it was Tribal Quests, and now it's Allied Society Quests, which, I mean, if nothing else, it bodes well for, like, not, like, making an effort not to be culturally insensitive as we go to, like, a whole new area of the map, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this expansion, yeah. I'm glad to see
This is
consciously
when you don't want to fumble the bag.
Yeah.
I love the thing about that, too. It's, like, it's an interesting way of teaching players how to open their minds, because it's like, this is, you started off Eorzean. We all started off Eorzean, and Eorzeans are notably racist. That's their thing. That was like their history, their lore. That's why they always got into fights all the time. That's why most of the primals were summoned because of internalized issues. So this is it's that interesting re-education process, because now guess what? As an Eorzean, you've been able to make contact with the Alamegans. You learned how the Alamegans worked with the local tribes. You're like, oh, hold on a sec. They're friends with the Nanta. They're not beating them up. Look what happens when you have friends with the locals, like and then from there it was just like the Domans, you learn they did take care of each other. And you're like, maybe we should take care of each other. And then it's cool. It's just this really neat 10-year process, but eventually have got to the point where it can be like, yeah, we're friends with everybody. We're working together now as a planet.
Garleans, we're friends with them now too, aren't we?
It's
crazy.
It flows like, as you play a Realm Reborn, you start off like really close-minded, and then you just slowly open your way up, and you're like learning about different things.
It's a great example of the player and the game kind of evolving alongside each other too. Again, it adds a little bit more to the experience when you really feel that in yourself too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Final Fantasy. You need more and more friends as you need to kill bigger and bigger gods.
That's true. Friends are the ultimate power source. That's how Final Fantasy works.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we have to hit a limit at some point, right?
Press L3 R3 accept the truth.
Yeah. They just add another limit break bar. It's like finally the end.
You know, go ahead.
Okay. Oh no, I was gonna like start moving forward a little bit.
No,
if
no,
you
I
got
was just gonna say
topic, you should definitely do it.
No. I was just gonna say that like at some point maybe the theory is we hit level 100, right? Then foil hat. We hit level 100. Next expansion we can't go over 100, and we have a semi reset. All right, it's not completely, but enough to where we're gonna go to another universe or something. We'll go to another area, and then everything's different, right? We're level 1 there, okay, and then we start leveling up again. I don't know. They are gonna have to do something at some point where they make. Never mind. I'm getting into new player experience, but new player experience with the story and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Is very hard to absorb if you're not just like wanting it, right? Unless you really want that story, because they force it on you, and you're like, if you don't want that story, it's gonna feel horrible. So I think that's the issue that a lot of people run into, is they're getting into an MMO and they're not prepared for what the game is gonna throw at you. Although some people are, and they go through it perfectly fine, but I do think that there could be some kind of resetting happening in 8.0. Not completely, but something. Right, especially when it comes to jobs.
Dawntrail first.
You get through Dawntrail first, yeah. But I mean, like, maybe this story leads up to that. I don't know. Maybe we're leading into that with this Solution 9 stuff. Who knows?
It is soul manipulation.
Yeah?
I'm not going to now.
Okay.
Oh, no.
But yeah, go ahead, Moose. Go ahead. Sorry.
So when I can actually get my brain to focus on a topic for more than 5 minutes, I think the thing I think the most about is there's a middle story about the City of Gold that's been hinted at from a couple directions, and I'm really interested in that. When I say middle, I mean like we know that the City of Gold was allegedly this ancient thing. But it looks like there was another trip there. Like, Galul Jaja seems to know it's a thing, especially if he's sending people looking for it, right? And Galul Jaja also sent Galif Baldessian a letter inviting him to come investigate it. And Aaronville knows something about it that makes him nervous, but he doesn't know what it is. And if we look at the trailer, we can see like some weird portal and some Lalafell running through it. And we know that Cryle has some weird connection to this. And it's like, okay, so does this tie in at all to how she was adopted? Or did we just see her parents in the trailer? Or all kinds of, like, I don't know, maybe I'm getting like kind of paranoid, but it seems like there's a story of something that happened involving the City of Gold that wasn't all that long ago. And I really want to know what that is. I think about that a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Hold that thought for just a second. Hold that thought. I want to test something, Moose. Where's your mic in how close is your mic to
you want to figure out which one it is?
Well, I mean, like, I was going to say if you could push your mic back a little bit away from you, I wonder if that would stop some of it.
Okay, so I'm moving it away as I'm talking. Is anything changing?
I feel like it's a little bit better.
Wait, it's better right now?
Yeah, I think overall that's better. Oh, what do you guys think?
That's weird.
Yeah, this sounds like, a little bit better.
Yeah, it's slightly less crunchy.
Yeah, I think it's capping out. Maybe because it's like its gain is like maybe it's up or something like that. But you putting it away is like
chat's agreeing too that they can hear you better.
So maybe it's just like hitting that point to where you can't be louder, right? And that's what it's doing. Is it's gain capping. So
very strange.
Now I can't hear you at all. Whatever you just did.
Oh no!
Bring it back.
Press the back button.
Okay. Testing.
All right, a little bit back. A little bit before.
Actually, if I look over here, I can see it doing something unusual.
Is it like, does it have like red lights? This is a clipping light. I'll let you keep looking at that while M goes on her thought. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt it. It was a thought.
Well, I lost my thought now.
I knew it.
This is a reenaction.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Back
okay, okay.
in,
I'm impersonating Moose's brain whenever he's thinking about lore. I'm off on a different direction. I did remember it though.
Okay.
Is because we've been hearing about the City of Gold stuff again from quite a few spots, and like seemingly unconnected sources are all leading us in this direction. But the other thing to kind of keep in mind is the founding of Tulialal being a rather recent thing as well. So the fact that, hey, we're going to go looking for this thing that is supposedly ancient, it's going to be interesting to see if it ties into like, oh, is this like a common origin? Was there a version of Tulialal many, many, many years ago, and that was what the City of Gold was? Because a lot of those stories about treasure finding and like, El Dorado, that sort of thing, is that kind of a story where you're not just finding the physical wealth of a place, but also the cultural wealth. So it would be interesting to see how that ties in with the way that Tulialal ended up being established, just in the quote-unquote recent century.
Wait, are we not assuming that the Solution 9 area is the City of Gold?
I'm not.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to say it's like, I don't know, because they talk about it. I think the earliest reference we've gotten to the City of Gold was the Google Library, right? So like from day one, we've had Charlotte in association with it because they had the documentation and it was a thing, right? But mainly just a rumor. Because I want to say the book that's in the library is talking about Merrilib's voyage. Because there's two. We got Kit and Ram, and then we have Merrilib who's gone twice, right? So on one of her voyages, they were trying to track that City of Gold, and they didn't find any reference to it. So it makes, because there's so many references to this thing, it makes you wonder that maybe it kind of reminds me of how they did with Scala, right? How Scala was built on became the bones of Alamigo, like on the very very bottom of it, it sat there. And they just built on top of it. Then it had all that water that was filled up, so no one could really use it. And then it became that place where they put the treasure, something like that. Like it was just, it's a layer of the history of past leaders or something like that. But yeah, that's the question. It's like, I don't know, because then it could be gold, the metaphor, or gold. It's the reference to the superconductors or something.
Yeah.
I feel like they gotta make like
who knows? That's it.
The dumb brains like happy in some way, and the dumb brains will be happy when they see a gold city, right? A city that's literally gold.
Like
right?
It's a smaller version of a bigger thing or something like that.
A lot of people play Warrior, so we know there's a lot of people who would probably appreciate simplified story. All right, Breaking Rocks, great story, guys. So like.
Yeah. Find the door.
So I think there's some room for that. Maybe yeah, that one zone that we really haven't seen at all, the secret zone,
the rare one.
Yeah, maybe that's the gold zone, right?
I think that would hurt my eyes quite a little.
Oh, it's all like Kefka fight.
A flashbang as I get there at 4 a.m. and I'm like, nope.
I wonder if they didn't put any notes about changing the slight tangent about changing the intro to the expansion, right? The loading screen, because they talked about that a lot during the media tour, but I didn't see anything. I think in the patch notes about it.
Not that I saw it. You mean the
big
bright white light and the music? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
they did make a lot of other accessibility updates though, so it is probably something that they're thinking about. So I am choosing to have faith.
Okay. Moose, do you want to try to re-enter?
Oh no.
It's gone. I don't hear you at all.
No.
It's fine.
Oh my god, his poor Mike.
Yeah.
The keepers of Solution 9 don't want the secrets out.
Yeah, he's being silent.
They've cut the feed.
Yoshi was like, no, dude.
No more secrets.
We know Moose already has been working on lore book number 4, right?
Yeah.
He already has all the insider information. Yoshida probably said, cut the mic. Can't let anything
out.
Yeah. Moose, just let me know when you want to try again, Moose. Just let me know. Okay, all right.
Well, I was gonna say, going back to the City of Gold stuff, while we're on the subject, they do spend a lot of time in the trailer in front of that very, very mysterious door with the gold shine behind it. And I am kind of trying to figure out whether or not it's a red herring. Because there's every chance that that's just like, oh yeah, and back here is where we keep the books, which is very interesting, but it could also not be the big thing that they're making it out to be, or it very much could be, and they have something bigger in store, which is why we're seeing this in the trailers. So I'm curious to know what you guys' thoughts are on that, because I haven't quite made up my mind on it yet.
I know I'm glad you mentioned it as a red herring, because as long as I've interpreted or even witnessed any of these trailers, that's just Square Enix's thing.
It feels like it, right?
Yeah, they will show you something with absolutely zero context. You will create a thought based on that zero context, and you'll be like, you know what, this sounds like this, and then completely be wrong. That's just how the game goes.
They
it's a lot of
also
fun.
do it the other way around too, right?
And they also, yeah, it's just like, I mean, it can go either way. Sometimes people nail it, and then you're just like, you don't believe them. You're like, no, it can't be like that. And then it is that. It's exactly that. And then you're just like, oh, man. And so I don't know. It's just like, the door is super curious. Just the fact that they had that little, like, the camera where she's like looking back, crying. I know something's gonna hurt. And then I think I was because I looked at the lines too, and I was like, please don't be Allegan, because I saw the way it was set up, and I was like, no veins, no, like, no tech veins, or I don't know what to call them. The tombstone effect, right? I was like, please, I want another tech, I want another science,
We don't need tombstones anymore. We're done.
We don't need tombstones here. We're done with them. But
I'm on
no,
both camps at
the way
once.
they present that door is very.
He lives.
Oh, I heard Moose. Yes.
I think you sounded pretty good too.
Yeah, that was.
Really?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're back.
Yeah. Let's go.
God damn it. You had me like looking at sources and checking different mics, and it's just like a crunchy USB port. Like it just did not want to behave properly.
Connected.
I am so sorry, everyone. It's a
okay.
crunchy USB port. I've ruined everything.
I'll look at how many people exit off of the show as soon as you start talking on the YouTube video, and I'll let you know.
I will come back and redub the entire thing. You want to just
there's like a whole segment.
No, just start the whole thing over. Cut the show. We're rolling again.
Just start over. Oh, it's okay. It's all right.
It's part of the bit.
yeah, it's fine. If they didn't stick around through that, they really didn't want to hear what you had to say anyway, Moose. So it's all right.
So yeah, I am 50-50 on like the same exact thoughts you guys have about the City of Gold. Like they went out of their way to show a lot of voiceovers about the City of Gold over the high tech, over the gold glitter, over the golden door, and yet it would be very Square Enix for either of these situations to happen. Either like they're showing that that's the City of Gold, it's like a metaphor and not at the same time, or the real City of Gold is whatever's on the other side of that portal, and we've got like another 20% a game.
Yeah.
It's that voice dub that plays over what we're presuming is a like flashback scene with the Lalafell is also the bit where I think they pulled a lot from 11 as well, which is what has sent me down the tangent of I don't think it's physically a City of Gold. I think it's something else.
Well, they lived as gods. They, had spiritual and emotional wealth.
It's people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from hardship and conflict was the line. And it was like a really deep, gravelly voice too. It didn't feel entirely human.
Sounds golden to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's
go ahead.
There's also a line, I think Kryl is saying it, and there's like a lot of emotion in her voice, which makes me suspicious that like they've connected the City of Gold to something meaningful for her by that point. But there's a line where she says, "A golden light, could it be?" And I think that's whatever the golden light is likely to be our City of Gold connection, because they went out of their way to say golden light.
Right.
All right. We'll see. Man, I feel like this one is actually kind of hard to piece together. a lot of other lore we could follow a little bit easier, but like you were saying in previous episodes as well, Moose, I mean, it could be literally anything. They could do anything, right?
At this point in the story, there's no more barriers. There's no more limits. They can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see what this could. I mean, I honestly think Solution 9 is done by level 85.
Somebody clip that. You heard it here first.
Done by 85. Yeah. And then we're just, or 95. 95. Sorry.
Or 97. Yeah. I'm going to say 97.
97. Okay.
Yeah, I think Solution, or the end of Solution 9 is like our mountain goal. I think.
I mean, how much we were done with all the stuff that we really knew about in Endwalker around 85, right?
What we thought was the main scenario, yeah. But if I'm gonna regret saying this. I know I'm gonna regret saying this. I'm gonna. Okay, so you can tell that like Urkopacha and Kozama Uka are like where you like split up and go to two different places. You got to split up and you got to come back together. You got your first dungeon, you got your first trial. You got Yaktel, which is like our third one probably, and then Shalanai, which is like our fourth one probably. And then you got your Heritage Found, and then that seems to be the dungeon that leads into Solution 9. I think Heritage Found has a dungeon that leads into Solution 9.
Okay.
So I think I'm thinking like 87, because then there would be two dungeons left in the endings. I don't know, somewhere.
Maybe Heritage Found's after Solution 9. All right.
For all I know,
could be. Huh. We don't have to go through the slums. We go to the slums after, right, or whatever.
We go to the city and get kicked out because we did something wrong. Wrong code. It's like no, Estinian. He got the password wrong, and then everyone gets kicked out.
Yeah.
Or something.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Good old Shadowbringers. But yeah, no, I think that there's a good chance there's tons that they're not telling us about the story. Yeah. I do think, like, I mean, there has to be some sort of alternate reality stuff. How deep do you think they're going to dive into 9? Are they going to, like, make, like, Final Fantasy 9? Are they going to make, like, Final Fantasy 9 integrate with this game? Or is it just going to be throwbacks?
So that's kind of a hard one to answer because, like, spoilers for Final Fantasy 9, I guess. It does open with kind of opening a sort of like wormhole to another version of the planet where everyone is dead and they were trying to bring them back to life, is the simplest way I can explain it without having to get into genomes and stuff. The way I was talking about earlier, what 14 does is it likes pulling on the narrative elements. It likes making very, very close parallels, but it never does it one for one. Here's the same characters, here's the same story. Yep. So I don't think that we're going to open a parallel Eorzea door and go through there. But I do think it's going to draw more on the elements of like the soul experimentation, because it has to do with the life stream, which we've also impacted significantly now that the icons, they're not really icons, I'm using the word for lack of a better one, Zodiac and Heidelin and the 12 are no longer controlling that flow. Who knows what scientists couldn't come up with, because that whole like ether physics portion of the world has changed. So there's a lot of new science to discover in the world too, and Solution 9 is in a unique position to pursue that. So I think that's the narrative element that they're pulling from 9 more than we're going to another universe at this point in time. And I might eat my words, but that's definitely the boat that I'm in, because those are also the parallels that I think they're drawing from 11, because 11 had a very similar story. So I think that's kind of like where the ley lines converge, so to speak.
Okay. But I guess another thought about that too is, God, this is gonna sound really stupid, and I'm sorry. The 9th reflection or whatever planet version, do we know a lot about that? No.
I'm trying to remember which ones are still around. Because
I've got
there's
the
only
book out
4 left.
for the order.
Okay. I'm wondering if that will come into play at all either, right?
Yeah, the 9th is still standing, but it's one
Okay,
of the
nice.
ones that we don't know shit about. Um,
Was it a calamity of
Right.
lightning? No way it would be a
If-
calamity of
no,
lightning.
If we
the
were
9th wasn't calamitized.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it is the 4th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 11th that we don't know
Nice.
anything about
Yeah.
because we haven't touched them at all. So there are a few more that haven't been rejoined, like the 1st and the 13th, of course. But there's 4 that have not been rejoined, and we don't know anything about what's actually on those shards.
Okay.
they
okay.
keep telling us they really keep highlighting the lightning factor. So if another shard was involved, the first guess would probably be the 12th, because that's the one that went down in the second Umbral Calamity, which was
Yep.
the Calamity of Lightning.
Okay. But that doesn't
Oh,
it's not 9, that's 12. It doesn't add up.
That's not how this works.
All right.
Sometimes the patterns aren't perfect. It kills me too, Frosty.
I don't know, man.
No, see, I feel bad because Moose, you still remember when you did that whole thing, that whole theory craft, and it just happened to be a mistranslation.
Yeah, that was fun.
With the Moogle.
Yeah, there was a day where I had a spreadsheet open, and like I figured out this whole cycle of the eras is what I called it, like the rocking boat theory of the eras, where I was able to look at kind of what calamity happened, and it was because of a Moogle in Heavensward mentioned like fire raining from the sky as the first calamity. And I was like, wait, but that was wind. And okay, so wait, if fire and wind are opposite, then like maybe an excess of fire is what like beckoned the wind. And so like you could create a wind calamity.
Yeah.
You could create a wind calamity by having like fire. So I did every single era. And I made this like double helix chart of how the eras intertwined and rocked back and forth, and they were like triggering calamities on purpose this way. And I posted the theory to the forums like, hey, just thinking about this today. And one of the developers replied, sorry, that was a typo.
Oh!
Yep. I remember that story, and the thing is like, because I was following that thread hardcore too. I was like, oh man, Moose is on point. And I remember the reply I can't remember how long it took for them to be able to reply, but when they did reply, it was just kind of like defeated sense. You're like, oh, like just all that research, all that work, and then it was just a typo.
I mean,
and
they literally could just. What would have been really cool of them has been like, you know what, it was a typo, but they don't say anything. They just build off of what you theorized. They're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Let's do that.
Right, just keep going with it.
I love that because it kind of mimics what happened in Universe as far as the understanding of the calamities goes. Because they're like, oh yeah, the 7th Umbral Calamity wasn't a calamity because it didn't have like a 1-for-1 main elemental association. That's like a legitimate conspiracy theory in Eorzea.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then
Nice.
like they even talk about it in the encyclopedia
Yep.
stuff too, but that's not how calamities work.
Oh.
Man. All right. Moose, what else do you have on your thing of lore, whatever it is?
Are you still willing to like pull up things?
I've always been willing. I'll do whatever you want me to.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Okay. So I think one of the big things we've been trying to think, like even Crow was hitting on it too, like when it comes to what is Solution 9, I think a lot of our theories go to like, is it connected to something that we already know about? Is it connected to something that exists? So they've got the proto-alphabet. Is it connected to like ancients? Is it connected to Ascians somehow? Everything's purple and black. Is it connected to Mach somehow? It looks like we see... All right, so this is going to hurt my street cred, but the first thing I thought when I saw it was actually Alog for a terrible reason. Not because I think it looks anything like Alog, not because I think it descends from Alog, but like when we saw the script, some of the script was written in square characters. And the only place we've ever seen that is Labyrinth of the Ancients. So I was like, wait. It can't be Alog. And then, but it's purple and black. That's not their colors. And there's no hexagons. And it's like purple and black. We're like, mock colors. Is it mock? But they didn't have that kind of technology. And I go back and forth on it. And now in the trailer, we see hexagons, and that's got me even more paranoid. Like, did they teach Alog about hexagons? So like, I'm thinking too hard. And then Yoshida goes, hey, why don't you go back and look at Alo Alo Island again? So I go back, and like the original society was there at the end of the 4th astral to the 5th umbral, and then they vanished. And then in the 5th astral era, there were people there. There was like connections to Nim, and then Mach went to the southern islands, and they got him to send that like cursed amphora to Nim. Like maybe Mahawk's involved, and they got that Ketadune the paradise whale that like lands and takes you to paradise. Like, maybe that's connected, and I don't know. I think too hard about it, and then I get really hung up on like how Heritage Found looks a little too much like Alexandria, and I get wondering like, is Alexander involved in this? And then everybody else starts talking about Ascians, and I mentally check out. But Oh, good.
No, it was funny. Sophia said this in chat too, but like, the Alliance raid for A Realm Reborn was Crystal Tower, and that became a huge thing at the end of the expansion with Shadowbringers and everything else. If we go one expansion up, we start getting into the Void Arc, which could be a huge thing maybe for this expansion, although it's not like right after each other. It's not odd for them to be like, this alliance is actually really important going forward, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see Cat Sif again. Possibly. Hate Sif.
That broke my brain briefly. Yeah, Kachi.
Kachif? Oh, Kachif. Sorry. Whatever.
That's okay. Nothing in that language is said like it looks.
Yeah.
Skahak.
But yeah, no, maybe we'll start seeing some of that stuff too, where we have those huge relations. But they didn't say anything like, hey, go make sure you do Void Arc beforehand. So
they told us to keep an eye on convocation seat numbers and said nothing else.
That was...
And then the Alo stuff as well.
Okay.
Yep.
I
have not deciphered the seat number thing, by the way, yet. I'll let you know what I figured out.
Hopefully we'll know in a handful of days, less than a week.
Right? I'll call you Friday night and be like, I figured it out, and not tell you anything. I'll just hang up
You can do it. Hopefully I'll be done.
It's just hammer roll, because we have more cactus now. We have all the cactuars. We got the thick cactuar, very thick cactuar.
I don't know why they put such a huge focus on the cactuar. It just seems kind of out of. They're just like, hey, these are
convocation member. It's
because they know what we like.
I guess
it's good marketing. They saw how everyone went insane about the like very long Luna tender on the movie. They're like,
exactly
we could use this to our advantage. Here's the thickest cactuar you've ever seen in your life. Go forth.
I don't know how much cactus we got out here. There's plenty of cactus.
Yeah.
Too much, even.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you pull up the preliminary patch notes?
Oh, so the patch notes is what you want me to pull. All right, hold on.
Yeah, I want you to pull the patch notes.
Lodestone.
This is in terms of me trying to figure out like what are our real hints for Solution 9. And I was right with Crow. Like right when they showed like the golden door, that's Alagon tech to a T. So either we're like recycling things or there's a connection, and I'm very confused.
Okay, and then let me put it up here. We'll just do a real large view of it and run with it. You just tell me where do you want me to go in the patch notes?
I want you to like Control F it so you can like search for stuff.
All right. Control F.
I want you to type Elite Mark and tell me if it pulls up like a picture of 4 things.
Yeah. Let me actually de-stretch that a little bit so it's a little bit clearer. Hold on. Doing this live.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I get what you're laying down.
Oh,
Yeah,
please let me go insane after you guys talk about this.
And then...
I need to find something
I
in a book
see
for
it.
this as well.
All right,
Is
so
it on the screen?
it's on the screen.
That motherfucker in the bottom right makes me angry.
What the Amdapor? No.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So-
That's crazy though. That's
One of our big enduring mysteries with Amdapor is how the hell did they carve a Caribou statue?
yep.
There's
Mm.
no way they should have been able to see the first when Sin Eaters were a thing. So either they were able to see like something infected with light in another way, or they were able to see a dimension where these things coincidentally share the same shapes, and they never went
Right.
back and they never explained it. But like, so that's just been stuck in my head for years. The Caribou and Amdapor drives me crazy. But in the 5th astral era, as the war was raging on and they were approaching the calamity, Amdapor actually ran out of resources to keep carving the statues like they were doing, where they were like really elaborate, like the Caribou and the Winged Lion. And they started making much simpler golems that looked like the dolls and pots from 11. And that's one of the pots. It's an Amdapor Pot, but it's all mock colors and Alagon lines, and I don't know. I'm not getting any closer to figuring this out.
I mean, this all smells like ancient aliens, dude.
It makes me angry.
So, yeah, elegance. So I can give some context from 11 here. This actually made me very happy. So
Let's go.
not going to give a whole rundown on 11 here, but one of the places that you see these pots is a place called Tulia. Yep, Tulia, which is also a city that people did not realize was a city. So part of where I'm going with that golden door is they may have Uno reversed what they did in 11, where they're like, oh, we're looking for the gate of the gods. So we were looking for this giant door that we had to seal shut. What if in this point, and like it actually ended up being a city in the sky? Somebody in chat actually mentioned that the French translation talked about it being a city above the clouds, which is the way that Tulia is described in Final Fantasy XI. It's coincidentally also where they pulled the quote that they dubbed over in the English from, is one of the speeches about Tulia in 11. And the Gate of the Gods was like this thing that had this huge, it would have had this huge environmental impact if they were able to activate it, because it was essentially an amplifier. It wasn't actually a gate. It wasn't actually a door to heaven. It was like machination that had been constructed in order to create untold like etherical damage to the world. So if the City of Gold is a misnomer, and we're already in a place called Tuliolal, and it's very similar to Tulia, what if the City of Gold is inverted and becomes a gate? That's kind of where my brain has gone to, and that's why all of like the enemy types that point in this direction are driving me a little bit insane, because this could just be me going Pepe Silvia with like my red string in the background. I should decorate this with that next time, but that's definitely where I'm at, because there's like so many coincidences at this point where I'm like, am I reading too much into this, or am I headed somewhere in the right direction?
There's one
you're
thing
absolutely
that makes me
looking
think
too much into this, but that's why you're on the show. All right.
Leave me alone.
There's one thing that makes me think you're not totally crazy, and it's not just that several of the areas do look pulled out of a couple areas from 11, especially the purple triangles everywhere, like the pyramids, and like that's all very, very familiar.
Yep.
But I mean, my first question is like, all right, let's go devil's advocate, go the opposite direction first. Is Solution 9's top layer above the clouds? Because it looks like it goes up pretty high.
Yeah,
so
that's also
that
floating
could
above
be
the ground there. Yeah,
that's got one thing for us, and the map makes it look like it like crashed into the ground, which has
it has an orb around it. Yeah,
it has like the shield around it. But like, okay, let's say that there is that gate goes somewhere higher. That would explain why it looks like the city is abandoned, perhaps, or at least not what it was when we get there. Like maybe everybody went through the gate or whatever. But then there's one scene in the trailer where there's like ships and ships and ships just pouring in from somewhere. So maybe that's where they're coming from. I don't know.
Because it's the story. We have no idea what's going on. I have no idea if that's going to be like a flashback to a previous conflict or like something
Right.
we'll actually be engaged in. I'm just putting together the regional design is a little bit too close not to be paying attention to it for me at this point. So
Selfishly, I almost want it to be Allag, because since 2014 we've had a running joke that the Allagons actually use their spaceships to just leave, and that they're gonna come back one day and be like, see, we told you the Dalamud thing would work itself out, and we'll have to deal with them trying to reclaim the planet.
Oh yeah.
So this could be our space Allagons.
They were just waiting. Yeah.
I like the idea of Zonde has just been chilling with like his own bottle of rum. And he's like, it'll work itself out. I'm just going to go on vacation.
Wait, rum you say?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah. So what you're saying is maybe that this little orb, this city doesn't even exist currently, and then like we're in the middle of the main story quest, and all of a sudden, just, poof, it comes down, huge explosion, the world shakes. You're like, oh, well, crap. I guess we should go check that out. Right? Happens City.
That or the opposite happens, because it's a lot of heritage found, at least the concept art that we've seen of it, because we haven't been able to walk around yet, is like, it's dark, it's a little desolate. It does look like aspects of Solution 9 tech are kind of hovering over it, or at least like in the distance. Instead of like crashing down and suddenly becoming a thing, maybe it's just risen up a little bit, and we gotta go up to find it.
Okay. There's some magical beans that were thrown into the ground.
Sure.
Push everything up. I got it. All right. Okay, so there is... Moose, do you have something else that you want to jump on? There is one thought I have about, like, not Solution 9, but going up to Solution 9.
No, shoot. What's up?
No, and this was just my experience at the media tour. The very first thing that I noticed is in Orcapacha, I think, had the giant claw marks everywhere, all over it. And that's around level 83, right? And you would say
would that be around our first trial? Which
looks to be the giant bird.
Yeah, because it was there was a line about how Valigarmanda had, or Valley, I don't know if I'm saying Valigam. I'm not gonna try anymore.
That's fine.
The Sky Ruin. I'm gonna call it the Sky Ruin. Its nickname. That it had left scars all over the land.
Yeah, that's on the website.
Oh, is it?
So that tracks.
So that tracks all. Yeah, that would all be there. Okay. Well, I mean that's not even a remote mystery. But in that area, did you guys watch a lot of media tour coverage of the areas?
I watched a little bit of the dungeon runs and stuff.
I've actually been trying to watch as little as possible, believe it or not.
I'm so sorry for this show then. So there's an area, and I'm sorry, Moose, if I'm going to spoil something for you.
That's okay. That's what we're here for today.
All right. There's an area, and I thought I got footage, but I didn't, where you go into a cave, and it has murals in the cave of a whole bunch of different stuff that would be very interesting to analyze if you guys had access to that. I'm sure somebody
get the footage. I'm so upset.
I'm sure somebody has the footage there. I don't have it, but I'm hoping that somebody out there, maybe in Twitch chat or somewhere else.
Time to go.
Did any of the other people who were there get footage of it? Because I mean, like, I imagine if it was something that was well known enough.
On the video, they said
Jesse Cox. I could try to look that up while you guys are.
Yeah, I think that was one of the only things I didn't watch.
If it was something like insane and obvious and cool, I definitely would have gotten a DM about it. Like, have you seen X?
Let me see if I can find it. What is this expansion? 5 times in a row. Jesse Cox, come on, do you have? All right.
Someone in Twitch chat apparently has photos.
All right, yeah.
Nice.
Send me
Just
pictures
screenshots,
if
yeah.
you have it. If you have me on Discord, you can send it to me there. If not, you can join the Discord and pop them in the Discord channels too. And that's fine.
I have low key been trying to go in with like a very open mind and no information because I feel like I've got a lot of closure.
Why did you agree to
with
come on this
Endwalker.
show?
No.
I'm gonna ruin
hang
all
out
of that
with us.
for you.
It's the homie time.
It sure is.
I don't know. Why wouldn't I?
Okay, all right. Well, I wanna show them just so I can get thoughts on them because they could be it could be fairly interesting for you. At least get some sparks flying, whatever.
Where do I look for them?
Oh.
They're in the general so in the MogTalk Discord, and I'll put them on screen here in a bit too. But they're kind of dark.
Ah, here we go. Got it.
Yeah, but you can look at them there. And then I'll try to get them on the screen here in a second too, so you guys can look at them a little bit and get initial thoughts.
Thank you for posting them.
Yeah. These are bigger than I thought they would be. This is brilliant.
Oh wow.
We're back to the eye symbology as well, and it's still drawn in the same pronged style.
Are you telling me that's not Dalamud?
It's not Dalvin.
Joking. I'm joking.
I can't believe you want the Alligans now, Moose.
No.
No, it's weird because like I get suspicions about things, then I look into them, and then I don't believe them. And but the problem is that all of the things I've come up with, I look into and don't believe. So I'm wrong, or it's totally new. One of the two.
Because there's every chance the Allagan stuff could also just be another red herring, and they just have a similar style as well.
Right.
All right, so let's look at mural 1, if you don't mind. And see if there's anything unique about it that stands out for you. It's kind of hard to tell because it's dark. But yeah. There's like an axe in there, I think, or a hammer.
Something I
Sort of
want to
battle.
check. Hold on, let me check something real quick.
Is that a battle? That might be a battle there.
Like a rising force.
But
It is
who's on the
hard
left side? Oh, is that a llama on there? It looks like there's some alpacas.
Are they
and
alpacas?
horses. Huh? Yeah, they're
I was about to
alpacas.
say, aren't
Yeah,
they alpacas?
they're alpacas. Yeah, I literally don't know.
I see bearded guy with hammer, and I just think Beardo,
Yeah.
and it's like he can't be here, right?
Yeah.
He's also the wrong color. He should be purple. Wait,
There's a purple version. Well, it's also interesting.
in a place
'cause
with a lot of
there's-
lightning, you say?
Yeah.
Right.
You see lightning bolts
but
coming
they're
off
not
of
in
it. That's what it looks
Eorzea.
like. Yeah.
Ramu did retain a little bit more, I guess I want to call it identity than the other icons we see in ARR.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting though, because there's a lot of like central old man figures in these, but they don't appear to be the same ones throughout the different murals.
Agreed.
There's got to be some. I wonder if it's just like tracking the achievements of every Dawn servant through history. Like
Oh,
we'll
that's a good
start learning
idea.
how each Dawn servant did this major. Because Final Fantasy's always had that kind of like lineage storylines. 15 with the kings and stuff like that. So they could have this like history of all these heroes and all the stuff they did in the past, and it's like this is who you have to become, and it's just making Luke Lamont feel stressed out because I think it was one thing they were focusing on. She wants to be the next Dawn servant, but she's not ready to become the next Dawn servant. So
I mean, she's not ready to like drink alcohol, dude. Like she's young. She's so young.
Yeah, I know. We have to help her become a leader, so it's like they're probably going to be doing a lot of history references of like this is what our people did in the past, and I can see this being like that referencing like read our record.
It feels too on the nose to me that like Wuklamot is really super tenacious and determined and like not terribly bright and brave, but Koana is like the smart, practical one.
Right.
And then Galul has two separate titles, the Vow of Resolve and the Vow of Reason. Like it seems like telegraphed almost, and I'm wondering if I should be paranoid or if I'm just like making shit up.
Okay. Do we want to move on to the second mural and look at it?
Yeah.
Right, let me pop that up.
Meanwhile, my brain has already wandered away to mural 4, so I've got to come back to two.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oop, oop.
Well, because when you're looking at this sort of thing, if we're talking about it in the context of it potentially being a chronicled history, it's hard to just look at one and interpret it on its own because by the nature of visual storytelling, you have to go from image to image.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for is whatever that trophy key looking thing was in the story trailer, if there's any hint of what that could be in these murals, because that could give us
the hand looking thing.
Yeah, the weird trophy key thing, but I'm not seeing anything that looks even remotely like it in these.
The thing that looks like an hourglass, but the top is like you look like you could fit it into something and turn it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a focus on that in the trailer for a reason. We're definitely gonna see something associated with it.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing anything that maybe the hammer in the first one has kind of the same like weird oblong shape at the end. I'm just trying to get any context for what it is, but it may not even be related to what we're seeing here at all. I'm just looking for hints to the other questions that I have that we don't have answers for yet.
Right.
Okay. So you want me to go into the third one now? Is there any of them that like stand out at all?
The third one does.
The third one? Okay, hold on one second. Let me see.
You said these murals are in Urkapacha?
Yep. In a cave.
Is that like the mountain region?
Yep, that's the mountain region.
Yeah, that's
now, did it look like these murals were left over from the Giants Empire?
Bro. Yeah, that's right, the Empire. I forgot about that.
Maybe.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember. I could go to one of my videos and point out the cave, but because I'd look at it and then just keep going.
Because that's my first concern is that like Urkapacha is a good distance away from Solution 9. So if we're looking at the ruins of the Giants Empire, it might turn out that these are just giants. And we're seeing an old history of something that's not connected to that.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Because I remember they talked about that. So.
But I mean, these don't look like giants in the murals.
Well, I mean, maybe we don't look like humans in our murals to them, right? All right.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah. Looks like a lot of people died in this third one.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Here you go. I actually found it on the main. So it's on the main website for Dawntrail. It says the Yokoi, sparse though they are number, the Yokoi continue to immortalize their existence with glyphic traditions according to their unique beliefs of life and death. So that might be what we were looking at. Is they actually do record themselves in glyphs as a people.
So there's a spiritual aspect to this as well.
Yeah, there's something associated with the.
Okay.
The third one has to be like the god of death or something, right? Because you see the big eyeballs there. It's something.
Right.
Yeah.
The tears.
Yeah.
And everyone's great. Yeah, there's a bunch of people laying down in what definitely looks like a grave pose on the top.
All right, let me pull up the fourth one here too. And whoop. And this is the City of Gold, right?
It certainly looks like it's the setup for a fight where we climb a mountain and then there is a large arena waiting for us at the top.
And it looks like Valley Garmonda's on the side, like the very top part.
Right, yeah,
like
that's what I'm thinking
beast. Yeah.
So
like
potentially a narrative lead in for that fight. Because what we've seen of that fight is also like high up on a cliffside or something, right? So that's my immediate association with this is the snippets of the combat that we've gotten to see.
The sun does look kind of goofy.
The sun.
Like
it has like a little face.
It's like I'm a little happy.
The weird things that stand out to me are the rainbow birds have the same wings, and this is just because like I'm probably making connections that don't exist because Yoshida told me to look at things. But the rainbow wings of the birds remind me of the rainbow wings of the whale that flies you to paradise in Alo Alo.
Okay.
It is also a concept someone in chat pointed out that they've used in previous games. In this case, notably 9.
Okay. Okay. Well, now you guys have seen the mules. I've spoiled some stuff for you, Moose. You're welcome. But I mean, like this.
No, I'm not.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to avoid. I'm not trying to avoid spoilers at all. The open mind is more just because, like, again, I feel like I have closure from Endwalker. So what I want Dawntrail to be is like, I want it to be like I haven't played this game before. I want it to hook me again, and I want to start over. I want to start kind of lore mongering everything from the ground up again, and I want to give it kind of a blank slate, fair chance to hook me and get me invested in a new story. So I'm not trying to avoid spoilers. I'm just trying to have an authentic experience.
Fair. Yeah, you know, I was planning to just skip the whole story and just power level to the end and, you know, do all that stuff. But like,
you gotta get to your next ultimate?
Yeah, my next ultimate. That's like in 4 or 5 months. Yeah. But yeah, no, I need to basically try to just get to the end game as fast as possible. But here's the thing. Final Fantasy XIV is such a story-centric game. If I'm like just powering through the story as fast as I can, no one's going to watch streams at all until they're done with the story. So it doesn't matter if I do it or don't do it. It's going to be the exact same effect, right? So I'm going to go through the story. I might go through it a little quicker than some, but I am going to go through the story entirely. I've always done it, but
one for story.
I'm proud of you for making this choice, Frosty. I'm glad you're not going to skip the cutscenes.
We celebrate.
It would have dealt untold damage to me during raid night if you came on. It was like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, no, I don't know how many people are going to be done with the story by then. Like, the story would probably take about 40 hours, we're thinking, right?
Less. Endwalker was 36 in a single sitting, and they said they weren't going to make this as long as that. Don't ask why I have that information.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, it means Friday and Saturday are the 2 days where most people are going to try to knock out the story if they're going really hardcore, and Sunday will open up. Christ.
That's my plan, at least. I feel like I'll be done sometime around Saturday afternoon, because that's what I ended up doing with Endwalker, and I'm not expecting this to be nearly as long or need as many, like, okay, need to go cry a little breaks. I will regret saying that, but
well, I mean, like, the big thing is we also have to hope we can stay connected to the game.
Yes.
The DDoS stuff has been pretty gross recently. We can just pray that it's going to be okay. But it's so much I don't know, I feel like kind of tense even. Like, I'm excited, but at the same time I'm like, this is gonna be kind of stressful. See how the next handful of days goes. But
right.
Anyways, so we'll be able to do a story show sometime after, you know, quickly. We don't have to wait too terribly long. You know, we're not going to do it like you know what? Hey, do you guys want to do a lore episode on Saturday?
This Saturday?
You guys want to do a Dawntrail talk on the story on Saturday? You think that's going to be a good idea?
I'm going to be going very slow. I've got to like fix my computer over the first day because my part got delayed.
I don't even know how much. I'm going to get lost in Kozama Uka, like just staring at some magical tree because it has like a deep history. Like it's just one tree and it had this like deep connection to a side quest, and I'm going to be there for 2 days.
Hey, wait a minute.
So, like,
what's up, Moose?
I've been like just sitting around researching the whole time.
Okay.
Christ.
All right.
In like built into the mountains in Urkopacha, do those look at all on? I'll send you a picture.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm seeing things here.
You're probably seeing things, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. There's a lot you could probably draw from the zones from the media tour.
I just threw something in your DMs. Does this architecture look similar to the architecture in Glyph 4? Is it? Hold on. Yeah, 4.
Hold on. Let me put the comparison on stream too.
I was like, let us see this, please.
Yeah. 1 second. And
if so, it could be a history of the Giants Empire.
Oh, I made this really, really big. All right, here we can. It's fine. It gets a zoom in on it. This kind of architecture here, and you're saying in
like the cylindrical white stone looking stuff.
Oh, the plant-like stuff?
No, the stone.
The
I see
stone?
what you're saying.
Yeah, if you look like kind of built into the mountain, you can see like cylindrical white stone things, and I'm wondering if that's similar to the cylindrical white stones, because this is like the last remnants of the destroyed empire are supposedly up here.
I for some reason it's not clicking.
You know, that's also interesting because the background of that mural is like a deep bluish purple tone, which isn't it isn't in line with the fact that the sun is also blazing, so if that's just the natural lighting of the area. I ran out of words in English very briefly. I see what you're saying. It's hard to tell without like the dome tops, but like the cylindrical buildings,
right.
it could be there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, some of the pictures some of the pictures make it look like the purple stuff kind of flowing and growing wasn't there at the time. Like
I see. Yeah. I can see.
And we did talk about that in the last episode when we were going over all the like the purple stuff, right? How there's like a potential sign of corruption, because I know that was something they were talking about.
Yeah, there was a theory that there was like it was somehow connected to Solution 9 and all that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I still feel it's valid.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I was talking about the raid and how it's going to be a simulation, and we're just going to have a tournament, right? Where we're like,
the tournament arc.
Yeah. So not too bad. Not too bad. I think corruption is the way to go. Purple corruption. So we'll see. I mean, it could be underwater too. It's not like a bad point.
When we did the live letter, he showed off like a level of the Arcadian, and there was a line that's like the first opponent is named Black Cat, and the question the announcer is asking is, can a flesh and blood challenger defeat the soul of the monster cat? And it made me think, like, are flesh and blood people like a novelty here? Like, do you not?
Good point.
Do you not have a lot of those? And so that's been on my mind too.
Well,
I did not hear that. So thank you.
It's an interesting like kind of parallel too, because we're talking about how one of the contenders for the Dawn Servant title also won the right to do this in a trial of combat. This seems to be a through line that we've established.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be out of the conjecture, of course, but I'm still thinking about like a battle tower kind of scenario. So if they're used to like, oh, we're gonna bet on this virtual thing versus this virtual thing, maybe the novelty is someone was stupid enough to get in the arena with the virtual monsters. That kind of scenario.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer a question from chat. When I say monster cat, I think I'm if I remember the characters right, it was a kaibyo.
A what?
There's a word for it. It's like a bakeneko is like a yokai, and it's a type of kaibyo. I think that was the word. I think that's the word that they used for like, can a flesh and blood challenger defeat the soul of the kaibyo? I think it was like a nickname given to the black cat.
Okay. I think they're just trying to be funny about the monster cat thing, because it's also like a plugin for Twitch users use for music. But yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. It's a radio channel that's free for Twitch users to use, and it's all just one dude making music.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've
That's
also
funny.
established that the billboards in the background kind of change from time to time, right? I think I saw someone talk about that. I was moving during the live letter, but I saw someone mention that on Twitter. I'm still waiting for that Moogle with a microphone to shoutcast the fight. That'd be a fun part.
Does that mean that you did not watch the live letter?
I watched as much of it as I could, and I read as much of it as I could, but there is a lot of stuff where I'm like, I've had to read the summaries because I was on my feet for like 12 hours that day.
Because I was actually getting a little worried because we've been here for an hour and a half, and you haven't talked about the symbol on the billboard or the enigmatic maiden and her weird little flourish.
Let's do it.
And I thought for sure after.
I was waiting for permission. I'll be entirely honest.
There it is.
Also, apparently, my takes are kind of hot on this this subject because it's my opinions are not what people expect them to be when it comes to being an ASEAN enjoyer.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
So the sigil, and I'm using that word instead of glyph for a reason that we see in Arcadian, right? This is something that you see in Academia Niter, is there are like different versions of an ASEAN glyph, and like they tie back to a pillar from 12. Then we have the glyph that's on the faces, and then we have what I am choosing to call a sigil, which is the representative of the words of the convocation, words being like disciples, students, they work in the same kind of industry of each convocation member, right? So the people who worked at Pandemonium were majority words of La Habrea because that was kind of his domain. So I think that the ASEAN symbology there is ASEAN symbology, but I don't think it's this person is in the room with us now kind of symbology. I think it's just a remnant left over. Either they know what it is or they don't, or it's just something they set up and then left alone and has evolved over the years. But that's kind of where I'm at with that sigil, because I think it would be an interesting premise for a raid series as well, just as a player.
Are you suggesting that the society that built Solution 9 stumbled over something ancient and
yes,
found their heritage?
Yeah.
Oh.
David Moose understands me. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with that as far as the sigil goes. The enigmatic maiden with the glyph looking thing on her belt. That was the one that I know you saw it and you were like, Moose saw it and was like, oh, Em needs to see this. That one confounds me because people are likening it to what we would assume would be the glyph for Posturat. I don't know why the glyph would be a physical thing, because the glyph isn't just a symbol of office, it's also like a limiter on the convocation members' abilities back in the times of the Unsundered. So to make that a physical thing, the implications of that stresses me out, so I've just chosen to kind of push it from my mind. It's also partially a selfish reason, because I am duty-bound to cosplay every version of every ASEAN that we meet. I don't want to make that dress. I will do it if I have to. I will do it, Yoshi P. I will, but I don't want to. So I think it's a similar thing where maybe the iconography has been found and then used in a different way, because to have that glyph as a physical thing, that confuses me. That's not in line with anything that we know about how these glyphs work.
The why would people do that is because there's a part of your brain that sees shapes when you look at clouds, and it doesn't stop at clouds.
Yep.
And people really, really love doing that when it comes to games. And sometimes they're right and sometimes they're not. But like every time this kind of stuff happened, like the first thing my mind flashed to when I saw the enigmatic maiden's weird little flourish thing was I flashed back to the theory that the Crystal Exarch was going to be aligned with the ASEANs because Zodiark was on his staff. And they like colored in the staff so you could see like the hidden Zodiarc in it. And I was, it was amazing. Oh, it was amazing. I loved it. It was one of my favorite ancient ASEANs theories of all time. And every time like people see shapes and things, I always flash back to that and I smile.
That's amazing.
That's so funny to me because it was way before I started playing the game. But it's
see if I could find it while we're
please
playing here.
Do. Frosty also knows I'm not an Exarch enjoyer. Sorry, chat. I think that would have refreshed me, and I would maybe not be an acid enjoyer if that had happened. But it's to make a very long story. Here's my reasoning for it. I don't think she's an Asian, and if it is actually Asian symbology, I think it's borrowed.
You
again,
think she's just
partially
like a fan?
Borrowed would be fun.
But yeah, I think it'd be fun for the red herrings, but also for the implications of, oh, here's this thing where the symbol itself means something. I'm gonna put it on my belt and see what happens.
Do you think it's like the people who like walk around with like Nirvana shirts and stuff, trying to seem cool?
Oh no!
Is that what it is?
Name 3 of the songs.
Yeah, name 3 Asians.
I've actually seen a shit looks like other shit theory for the maiden that goes in a completely different direction. That it looks like the symbol from the flag for Alexandria in 9.
Pull that
Except
up. I
like
got
upside
all the art
down.
books out. Yeah. I got the 9, 11, and 14
So it's like
books out for this.
while everybody else is talking about Asians, I'm getting DMs that are like, okay, her belt buckle and the Alexandria ruins and like heritage found. So the belt buckle has an infinity symbol and that like represents time. And the Mobius strip is used to explain like time loops. And the ruined city looks like Alexandria. And the big castle that ruled over the city was secretly Alexander the whole time, right? So like, does she have time magic? Is she Alexander somehow? And yeah, so I've got a whole Alexander theory going on in the background coming into my DMs while everyone else is talking about Asians.
I mean, it's not far off. We're gonna battle
that,
a giant purple robot too, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
That's true. Because it's Alexandria in 9 also like kind of became Alexander. More spoilers for 9, I guess. That also goes back to, is the city of gold a city, or is it just Alexander but golden?
yeah, good time doing ultimate.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yep.
make it
Secret
gold.
late phase of T.
Yeah.
Alexander 2.
Yeah.
If you pop
True
into
Alexander.
the today's guests room, I threw the Exarch staff thing in there for you.
Oh, yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Oh, you mean the baby sigil from... Okay, yeah.
The baby sigil?
Yeah,
The
so
baby.
Zodiark in 12 is a baby. Don't worry about it.
Is Zodiark a baby? I guess he is a baby.
In 12, yeah.
Youngest of the gods.
Youngest of the, yeah. I mean, he was youngest of the convocation too.
I'm gonna be honest, that feels like a stretch. I'm looking at this diagram and I've played 12. I don't know that I would have fallen into that trade.
They're all stretches. It's part of the tradition.
I know,
is.
but
Yeah. This is good. This is good. And you know, this is the kind of conversation I love having. And every once in a while, you get one of them right. All right. And you can just go
Well,
back and
that's
be
my
like,
rule.
just one.
get one right. Okay.
My rule is that I'm not allowed to dismiss any crazy theory because once an expansion, Apollo is gifting someone the dodgeball of prophecy.
Yep.
I don't know.
And I do not want to be the guy who shot it down only to look ridiculous when it was just like, oh, they called it from a mile away.
Yeah.
Well,
I learned my
fun to
lesson
be
from the
right.
Void Arc.
It's fun to be right when you're a little bit insane about theories, but it's also very fun to be wrong because you know that they're just going to come up with something that's even more insane
Right.
to make up for it.
I mean, yeah. They've been a little bit crazy recently. Hold on, I'm gonna put that image you put in there on the screen too, just so people can see it if they want to see it.
One of my
The chat.
favorite theories of all time.
Yeah, chat is remembering and mentioning that Sam Raimi was the reference to samurai, so you know,
I didn't
Far-fetched is
believe
really,
that.
you know, far-fetched is not as far-fetched as you think it can be. It's,
Yeah, there was a Spider-Man shirt. It turned into that was samurai.
Okay.
yeah, so the references are there's a lot of reference possibilities out there
That's
now because
hilarious.
Yeah.
we would,
Yeah, I fully thought, like, I thought samurai could be the job, but I thought like it was maybe they figured it out by accident by guessing Sam Raimi.
yeah, right,
And
yeah.
they did it right away. Like we were still watching the video while people were just going, "Oh, it's obviously samurai because Sam Raimi," and I'm like, "What?"
I mean, somebody wanted samurai enough that they were able to figure out that link, right? That's all you got to do is the urge to want something to be, and eventually, some things you want will exist, right? You will get that connection at some point.
Viper's supposed to be power fantasy of dual blade wielding. Apparently, that the whole idea of it is supposed to be dual blade wield power fantasy. So you wielded enough. We are now Kirito. We can we can now play.
Oh man. all right. Moose, what else do you have on your sheet? Is that a good chunk of it, or you have lots more?
I think we covered everything.
Okay.
I mean, I was not expecting Theorycraft until I saw a tweet with a thumbnail that said Theorycraft. I was expecting just like a rundown of the need to knows for like to understand the lore going in, so I had that ready. That was all I had ready.
Okay, that's fair. No, I mean, like we usually keep these fairly open, right? And I figured this is the best time to keep it open in general for what people are wanting. So we had the quick rundown. We only need like 5 minutes for that, and there's bullshitting about the story for another 2 hours is usually proper for this story.
Yeah.
Or the show.
I'm sorry you had to hear it screamed through a telephone.
It's okay.
The dial-up experience.
That was you.
Oh, well, I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Again, this feels like the least amount of barriers possible when talking about the story. And so we could go in so many different directions. I'd love Ramu to pop up and be like, hey guys, just me. Guys, lightning is me. That's the connection. Okay, we're done.
They finally answer how they got the crystal light from Ramu. They answer with heritage found.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
They finally just random moment. It's like, oh yeah, you remember that crystal light? You're like, what?
You're still just tying loose ends up through all of Dawntrail.
We had regular long beard Ramu, right? Then we had Centaur Ramu, right? And so I guess now we get cool Neo Tokyo Ramu. That would be I could do that. Yeah.
The Castlevania La Habrea made its way through Ultima the High Seraph to end at the heart of Sabik. Anything is possible.
It really is at this point.
I've never heard that aesthetic for him described as Castlevania La Habrea, but you're so
honestly,
right.
it's point though. Like you play through the entirety
high collar,
yeah. All of Pandemonium is just Castlevania vibe. Like just give me that Belmont clan. We'll go in there.
Yeah. It would be nice to. Never mind.
I thought.
Go ahead.
I thought that was kind of like the point, with like Hot Chocula as the first boss.
Hot Chocula.
Yeah, that's what we called him, right? I forget.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard
forget
that.
my own nickname.
No, I don't think I've heard that one. Thank you.
It's pretty good. Yeah, that's.
You got any more?
Oh, I've got hundreds more. I just don't know which ones I've used here and which ones I haven't.
Oh, it's fine. All right. Did you have any other crazy ASEAN themes or anything else that you want to throw out there for the group to discuss?
No. The only ASEAN thing was to discuss how I don't think there would be any, which I think we basically covered. As my hot
keeping me
take.
guessing, M.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like physically restraining myself from going off on another tangent about 11 because that's also where the Ramu thing comes in, and I'm like, I cannot just make this the Final Fantasy 11 show right now.
Well, you know what? We can do that right before 7-1. Right before 7-1. Because that's right before the Alliance comes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can come on.
Raid.
Yeah, I can come on and do a, hey, here's what you need to know before the Alliance raid.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Sure.
Just discussing it for all the people who started 11 and they're like, oh, well, the spacebar doesn't let me jump. I guess I'm out, right? So
that does feel like a crime that you can't jump.
Vibe.
Yeah.
It felt miserable. It felt miserable. I felt locked to the floor, and I just couldn't stand it.
They did add it as an emote eventually, but you have to type
That's
/jump, and you cannot be moving forward or back. You could just jump in place.
Oh, still rough. It's still rough. Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot for us to like really dive into. When we're wait a minute, hold on. Frosty, can you hold up the map again? We will find out what the duck caused the crack in the world.
Yes.
What?
There's a giant crack in the ocean.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think you
Definitely.
can. Green screen will probably kill a lot of it too. Where is it? Which crack are you looking at?
It's in between the two Tyrol continents, like on the right in the middle of it.
All right, right there.
Yeah, we've been speculating about so much, I forgot about that.
Right there.
Yeah, it's just a giant crack in the ocean, everybody. Yeah, that's not concerning in the least bit.
Does it extend through to the other side, Frosty, out of curiosity?
Yeah, it goes all the way to
No, but I mean the
their
other
version
side of the map.
Pacific Ocean.
Oh, you mean like over here?
Yeah, does it keep going?
No, it doesn't look like
so
it.
There's more of the map to see then. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking about.
If you take a well, I had to. So of course, last chance to do it. If you haven't done it yet, you can go record the planet. It takes 30. I think was it 30 minutes for a full rotation, and you can see the whole planet. It's pretty cool.
Can you?
Yeah, they show the whole thing now. It's from the surface of the moon. You can kind of just like visualize it. And I record it because it's fun to kind of like speed it up and see all the different worlds and stuff. But that entire area is, I would guess we could call it the Pacific Ocean analog, because it's honestly, from the standpoint of the moon, it's all ocean, but it goes right into Hingashi. So there's a direct line of the Far East to the continent of Tyrol from the other side. But you still can't see the crack from that area, so I don't know.
It's outdated. It's an outdated world.
This is an outdated planet visual from the moon, the surface of the moon.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really the real planet. It's just a hologram the rabbits put up so we'd feel comfortable on the moon.
Like, we can't actually see the planet from the moon. What were you thinking?
They don't want you to know that Eorzea is actually flat. This is
it's a flat
They're
Earth.
just projecting a planet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the moon's flat too, and they just have you into like this orb, and it's a projection.
Yeah. Every planet is flat, Frosty. Didn't you know?
Moons
That's
are
why
planets.
we can do the cosmic exploration. We're disc copying, you know, like just.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great, you know.
Mario Galaxy style jump to the other world, just off of its edge. Like.
Yeah, there has to be more areas and stuff. I mean, like, there might be.
They
might be done with the world at some point, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm looking at the crack and its distance from Urkapacha, and I'm just wondering, like, is this related to either kind of the arrival of Solution 9, because it looks like it was put on the map after the fact, so I keep thinking it maybe got here separately, or is it related to the fall of the Giants Empire, or, and then in the background my mind's wandering away like, why isn't the whole ocean draining into it? This bothers me.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, we're probably going to fight somebody, and they're going to have a title called World Breaker. I'm sure that's down the line somewhere. And something caused this. I mean, it doesn't... you can't really... It's a map. You can't, you know...
They made such a huge deal out of revealing that there was something that had cracked that into, though. Or at the very least that it's there, not that something had caused it. I want to make that.
I mean, there's
every chance. Yeah.
It looks like it starts with a little line on one side of it, on the camera. I guess it's on the right side, or I don't know. And then it goes all the way over into multiple cracks, like it spreads out like a lightning bolt or something. I don't know. And goes deeper and crazier on the side of the map.
Hey, with all the lightning stuff, you could be completely right. It could be deliberate.
Right.
So someone, like, it could have started somewhere on the other side and then spread and cracked way crazy, like on the other side.
Or something impacted all the way out in the middle of the ocean in the west there, and that's just where the hairlines ended up by the end of that.
Yeah. Although it really does look like it spreads more than like it joins together.
In one of the trailers or one of the previews, we see them like running across a bridge, and I'm trying to remember, is that across the crack?
I believe
in
so.
what trailer is it? Yeah, the
cinematic.
not the launch trailer, but the cinematic. Yeah, the cinematic trailer. There's a when Amanda starts singing, they do a little zoom by, and there's a giant bridge between this huge crack in the ocean between Duliolal and the other side where Shataral is probably going to be.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't like confabulating it.
Yeah, the bridge is there. Yeah.
It can't be that long of a bridge, man. So it looks a lot bigger on this map.
If you pause the video, it's like there's a long bridge. Like you gotta. It doesn't.
It has to be miles, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
Scale is not something this game.
Yeah, scale is not. Final Fantasy is always about the absurd, you know.
Scale is way off in this game. The scale of Ul'dah.
If Gilgamesh doesn't show up on this bridge, he's missing out on this big. It's a big bridge.
Oh, on the very long bridge. Yeah.
What if we get like a Gilgamesh, but he's like long?
Long Gilgamesh.
Long Gilgamesh. His big battle on the long battle on the long bridge or something like that, or what if?
Oh no.
Long Gilgamesh. That's gonna haunt my
battle on the
nightmares.
bigger bridge.
Longamesh. Chat is saying Longamesh. I like.
One brain cell, quick. One brain cell, dude. Oh my gosh.
I will say this last thing though, because there is references to Galoof and with Baldesion, there's a lot more 5 references. Absolute chance that like Gilgamesh will show up on this bridge. If he doesn't, he's missing out. But it's not that.
There are inconceivably further Hildebrand adventures. There's a chance.
There is a chance. Hey.
I skipped all of the most recent stuff with that. I hard skipped it. I'm sorry, guys.
That's the one I won't judge you for. I am regrettably not a Manderville enjoyer.
Oh yeah.
The amount of lore they put in Manderville Quest, though, sometimes I'm just like, really?
Me.
That's where you put it?
Yeah,
like
put anywhere else.
Like everybody, it's like, oh, what's Sil D? I'm like, what's Sil D? Like, but I can't really say it because it's like you have to do all the Manderville quests to get to that point where they go over Sildine history. Now they got the variant dungeons. Thank you, Square Enix, for creating variant dungeons to give people lore so they don't have to do Manderville for the lore. But I was like, the only point we had where we could get that information was a Manderville quest, and I was just like, I can't believe this. So,
it is. Speaking of that, I am sure GG's going to make their way back at some point.
Oh, the time.
This would be the expansion.
Control. Yeah. It would fit.
It would make sense to see.
I
GG
miss
here,
I miss when
very long
Hildebrand.
I'm looking at it right now.
I miss when Hildebrand was investigating the same things that we were.
Right.
In 1.0, we were investigating the Calamity, and Hildebrand was investigating the Calamity. And his role was basically to ask all the same questions the players were asking and then answer them wrong. And I actually really miss that.
Like, I wish
I wish he showed up and asked all of the questions we were asking about every expansion and then gave us nothing of value, because that was actually really fun at the end of the Calamity when everything was really dark.
I'm trying to think how they would have answered some of the questions that we were asking, like that I was asking finishing Shadowbringers, so then like halfway through Endwalker, just having him go up and be like, I think it's the stars, and we just go, no, see you later.
I would be the Hildebrand of every single show we do. Absolutely.
What was that
you get you the monocle.
I'm gonna have to paraphrase, but the quote, one of the characters, I think it was the Heavensward version of the Manderville quest, where he's just like, what he says, like, I think every time I ask a question, I just slip more into absurdity. And then another NPC walks up and is like, "Yep, this is just how it goes." And then that was that one moment interaction that just defined Hildebrand forevermore. And this guy's like, "Yeah, that's just how it goes here." And that's how I always accept it. It's just absurdity at its peak.
Yeah.
I did appreciate the reporter that we had in Endwalker who started talking conspiracy theories, and he's like, "I'm gonna write this in my article," and I'm like, I had a moment where I had to sit down and go, "Oh, this is how everyone else sees me." I just had to like come to terms with that. I'm like, "Oh, I understand my role in this now."
No, well, I mean, what you do is you put that reporter in the middle of a raid. And then the relation would be great as we're all trying to solve mechanics. Did you know in Final Fantasy XI?
I'm not the only one doing it, but that is like very much like if that man was doing DPS while he was like trying to take notes. That's
they're in a fight and the reporter's just there scribbling. Yeah. Let me show that long bridge on screen just because you so wonderfully
sake of completeness
sent that over. Yeah.
I got you.
What's that water on the? Is that the Pictomancer stuff?
The butterflies, yeah, that was part of the spell.
Oh, okay.
Those little bubbles, I don't know. The color drops.
Yeah.
Why isn't there water pouring? Where's the water in this one?
Oh, see, so that I showed you. That's the Shoutoral ending, or that's the one side, and then it flips over to the other side. It's like a single second swap. Let me grab that other one because you see a rainbow, and then it splashes over to the ocean.
Why is Krill putting the butterflies so far off the map? That isn't helping anybody. Just like into the sky. Come on. All right.
Is the Picto range like 8,000 yalms like it is in this photo?
Yeah.
It's the power of imagination, you know. So you can't really limit that power because if you believe it, yeah.
I'm looking at
You got it.
I'm looking at the layout of the mountains, and I'm pretty sure this is just Sedona, Arizona.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's
I can pick
the
out
Southwest United States. That's what we're going.
I can pick out like individual features. Like I think I've been there.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely inspired. Arizona is definitely a part of it.
You know, this is the vibe.
It's
like I've been there, and that's the other side. There's a panel swap, and then it goes to that side, and you can see Thulialal. That's that's the hub city and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think the ocean is falling into the crack, but
so the bridge is right at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see the water falling off the side here.
So if we count the one over in Evilise, the ocean is just pouring
the water's just gonna
into multiple places.
There's multiple holes in the ocean.
All right, hold on.
Where is there water at the core of the planet now?
Like here's the crack, right? So the crack is like pretty big. It takes up like a good chunk of the map. We're gonna the water level's gonna go down a little bit. All right, in the ocean.
Maybe something's pouring water in at the same time, so it stays balanced. That's how this works, right?
Yeah. Maybe the gods have just set up like one of those infinite beer mugs.
The water
it's Thor's horn. He's just infinitely funneling.
The water just goes through the planet to the other side and wraps around.
Somewhere there's a hidden straw, and it's just drawing it back up from the bottom to the top.
Amazing.
Like we solved this with the Thaliak statue infinitely pouring out of the vase.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just that one ancient who's just like, look, so I have a theory that, in the future people are going to go really crazy with ether and create really bad scenarios that break holes in our ocean. So here's my theory. What if we had a system that recycled water? And all the ancients are laughing at him and just saying, oh, that's a crazy idea. That'll never work. And then several thousand years later, he's just like, oh, I told you we would need this. Look at these cracks in the ocean. And he's just a little water recycling machine that sits at the bottom of the crack, just cycling the ocean back where it needs to go.
They're looking down at the planet from Zodiark's form going, I told you so!
I'm important now.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, how different the topography is on either side of it, because the south side that's, lush with jungle, and then the north side is very arid.
So that's what happens when all the water gets drained away.
Oh, is the water leaving that side and not the other side?
That's interesting too, because it gives us kind of an idea of if that's the reason that it's so dry there, how long has that crack been there? Does it predate anything that we're going to see in Dawntrail? Is that a mystery we're even going to get answered? Or is it just by choice that if this was caused by something, they chose where like the climate kind of started splitting. And if so, what was the significance of this region that it was here? Was it a random thing, or was it like a targeted, like we're gonna cut something here, or was it just natural given the age of it? So interesting thoughts. No answers.
Lots of stuff.
Sorry.
Lots of stuff to look
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
Yep.
In the start of the game.
Oh man. So all right, so we go in, it's jungle, then it's mountains, and then I think it's jungle again, then it's desert, then it's old town and Neo Tokyo, then mystery. Right? I think that's kind of like what we're doing.
That's our aesthetic. Yep.
Discord general chat. I can take a look at it again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this big thing that was secret. That was
This one. Yeah, we went over this before.
Nothing. Yeah, but we have the actual image now, and it wasn't really hiding anything.
Yeah. The joke. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Not
They
sure
gave
why
an
they-
image with nothing. Hold on. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Wait,
Give me a second, because we talked about this. This is not, something's off here.
my theory was that it was just you could see Solution 9 in the background and they didn't want you to. Like I thought it was gonna be that misleading and simple because we can see the town and the train was also a heritage found. Does that mean it arrives in the story?
Yeah, so like right here, you see all this, and that's heritage found, train, whatever. Big secret, you see purple stuff behind it. Oh, well, that's obviously the big bubble of Solution 9. Easy. Figure it out, right?
That's what I thought.
I mean,
But I'm wrong
you
a
can even
lot.
see the rocks kind of jutting out, right? And 100% that looks like it is on the map, where you have like rocks jutting out from it too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it's
There's something purple in the background. Yeah.
Unless it's just the particle effect, because the photo with the word secret on it is like lit differently
Yeah.
than the illustration that we got. So it could
What
be
if
that they're
it-
like, what if we just removed it from this image for the second post?
That's so interesting.
What the hell, dude? This is BS. If you look
wonder.
really closely, maybe the sky looks slightly different on the left side than the right side, like a little bit more blurry. Maybe it's a invisible layer, their shield, and they're hiding.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny if they're like, oh, it's a secret, and then they show us the full image, and there's nothing there because there was never anything there to begin with, only for it to turn into like, oh yeah, this is Solution 9, we were hiding it, it was invisible, you didn't see it anyway.
This
amazing.
is so frustrating.
It would take a while for that to pay off, but it would be a very funny joke if this is what they did.
100% Solution 9. This is all BS. Where did this other photo come from? Who made this bull crap?
I opened both and I'm just like flicking back and forth between them rapid fire.
This is,
And yeah, there's clearly one thing just pasted over the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, that's Solution 9 there, dude. Whatever this photo is bullshit. I don't know. There's no way.
Yeah, the non-secret one is a promo on the website.
Yeah,
so
it's
I
an
think-
actual image.
Yeah, it's a fake image they put on there. I don't know what to tell you.
It's a fake one. That's funny.
Why would they present it as secret at a fan fest? Be like, whoa,
Right.
and then they would show like a.
And then hide it.
So
I love how Frosty's like, this is bogus. They had AI fill that in.
it probably was. It probably
What if
was.
what if they absolutely never address it, and it was just here to make people like us?
That isn't even
on
a
it?
red
What if they-
herring. Guys, that
Yeah,
isn't even a
that's
red
the
herring.
point.
That is a lie. It is a straight
This is-
lie. Where they would say,
I have
hey,
been-
secret, and then nothing's there. That's just a lie. That's
Hey,
all
for
it
the
is.
past 6 years, every time I make a lore point, someone counters me with, well, yeah, but that's just a lie. Like, your sheet is pulling a ruse. Like, that's not real lore.
That's
Maybe he
funny.
finally pulled a ruse.
He finally lied straight up to us. Yeah, that's what it was.
He was targeting you specifically.
Yeah,
Like,
dang it.
this will keep him up at night.
I'm a little bit peeved and frustrated now that I know that image exists. I really am. It just bothers me because it just doesn't make any sense why they would even put it up, right?
It just makes me paranoid.
Jerks, dude. What?
And again, I don't even believe my own speculation. So I'm sitting here like, well, maybe like you arrive in the area and you can't see it, and it's the first art, and then you can see it, and it swaps to the other art. Easy peasy, problem solved. But like, would they do that? I don't think they'd do that.
We have no idea.
The only thing that would make this like okay, I guess, is that is how the zone looks until Solution 9 pops up, right? And then the secret one in Solution 9's there, right? It pops up while it's like it's not something that was there. It happens while we're going through the story. That's the only thing I can think of, but it doesn't explain why the rocks are already fucked up, except for that's just the land is like that, right? But I don't know.
It landed years and years ago, and it's still all cratery, and then it comes back up.
It's like throwing a ball into the water as hard as possible. It like goes down a little bit, then pops back up. It just took a long time to pop back up.
Like a tripod in War of the Worlds, you know, it was down there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't believe anything I'm saying.
Disclaimer.
Just public service announcement.
I mean, I'm all for, the people who are talking about Lavos like we see in chat, I'm all for them bringing in Chrono Trigger, but I'm pretty sure that this is not the expansion. But it would be nice if they did that at some point and brought back Chrono Trigger. I mean, the whole Final Fantasy IX thing is wonderful because they're making a remake of it now already, right? We're pretty confident in that at this point, so the relation's really good. You know what, the other thing that like kind of stood out to me now that I'm starting to think about it is Yoshida did say, hey, there's a lot of Final Fantasy IX things. Well, I can't really talk about that right now. Has he ever said that about anything that had like throwbacks like the Final Fantasy IV stuff? He's never said, oh, I can't talk about it right now. It doesn't really... That seems a little bit odd, right?
Right.
I wouldn't know.
So I'm going to take that as this is more involved. Final Fantasy IX is more involved than we actually think it is. And that's gonna be
I do think it's funny that everyone thought he was going to make the remake. And he's just like, why did you think I was going to make the remake? And then all the 9 references.
We did spend a while speculating about, God, what was it? Oh, the genome.
Yep.
It's that we did that show like a month and a half before the time where he got to actually talk about like, oh, I wonder why there's so much Final Fantasy IX stuff in the collectors, and please look forward to seeing more 9 things. I can't talk about it. It did feel very validating after like we were like, are we reading too much into it? Is this a lot of 9 stuff? And I was like, oh no, we're on the right track. We might not be right, but we're headed in the right direction at the very least. So,
man, I gotta say this. I'm more excited for this expansion than I've been for a good handful of expansions. I don't know why. I didn't buy into it at first, but like there's just so much to it. And I feel like again it's a whole new world, right? And so I think that it's kind of exciting to see how this all plays out. It's the first time I'm going to be able to play as hardcore as I am going into it at the start too, so that's going to be a lot of fun. But
are you starting Friday morning too, Frosty?
Yep, as soon as the game lets me in it, I'm inside, I'm leveling. But I'm going to put myself behind with Picto, but other than that, yeah. I want to get that going as fast as I can. Because Picto is so much fun, guys. It's literally...
it looks... Yeah. I was excited watching the videos for it.
Yeah. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. That's fun to mess around with, too. That I'm excited to see how to make them work. Because I feel like it's going to be different for every single fight. And that's fun. But
nice.
I guess like a good thing, we've talked a lot about story and lore, but as we're getting to like the near end, we're here. This is the last day of Endwalker, and then we're done. We're at the end. Just as players, what are you guys really excited for going into the game? You know, is there anything just like I can't wait until Friday to experience this kind of stuff? Besides story and lore.
We're talking
Right.
Dawntrail specifically?
Yeah, as a player, yeah.
I'm just looking forward to the experience. Like when you were talking about how this was the expansion that you've been most excited about for a while, I was realizing how ridiculous my own emotions are when it comes to this. Because if you go back and you watch like the other before 7.0 was announced, if you go back and you look at kind of asking me like, Moose, what do you think 7.0 is going to be? What do you want out of 7.0? All I said every single time was, I just want to explore more of the planet. I don't want any more time travel. I don't want any more shard travel. I just want a nice grounded story where we explore our planet. And I think we should go to the New World. I think we're going to the New World. And now here I am sitting here watching a story where we're going to the New World. We're exploring more of the planet. And I'm like, we'll see.
Well, you're right.
Shouldn't I be like really excited?
You will. You'll start tearing up when you get in there. I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, I think it's just I'm very invested in having almost a new player experience. I want to be hooked again. I want to treat this like 1.0 again. I want to come into it with an open mind and kind of fall in love with a different side of the game.
All right. I hope that it delivers that. I'd be so sad if we're dragging in lots of stuff from the previous arc, but
also 2 dice.
2 dice, yeah.
2 dice. That's really the thing I'm excited for, is to play with the glamour for like 8 hours.
People are gonna look real cool. Yeah. I will say
redo my entire wardrobe.
What was it? I had it on the tip of my tongue. I completely forgot it. Don't worry, I'll remember later. What about you, Em?
Oh, that's kind of a hard one. I was genuinely worried when we finished Endwalker and like all of the rating was done that I was going to fall out of love with the game. I'm riding a lot of highs of emotions from this weekend that are also very Final Fantasy related, so I am tearing up a little now. But I'm very happy with the fact that I have an opportunity to fall in love with the game all over again. Whole new cast of characters, all the ones that we know and love still, and like getting to experience that with, not to give this kind of answer, but like all of the friends that I have now, some of the best ones that I've ever had in my life. I am really looking forward to having this kind of new adventure with them instead of meeting them along the way. I feel very much like I've got my own scions with me when I'm going into this.
Aww.
So bit of a sappy answer, but like that is what Final Fantasy 14 means to me. It's the community that I've found. So getting to go into Dawntrail with that community, now that I'm a part of it, that is my own whole new adventure. So that's what I'm looking forward to more than anything else at this point.
Yeah, and you have all different types of people to get excited about all different types of content with, right? You have people who are more invested in story, more people who are invested in the rating, you know, whatever aspect you want. There's somebody that's going to be excited about it.
Yeah,
so I'm
stoked.
I try to explain this to people when they talk about like they've never played an MMO, but they have like kind of an idea of what an MMO is, and it doesn't include that aspect. That's always the thing I'm rushing to explain. Like, no, there's a unique experience to being in an MMO where you're not just playing a video game and there are other people there. You are taking a journey that's been mostly fleshed out, and then you're experiencing it as you, as a character that you made, and your experience of that journey is going to be completely unique, and it's going to include people that you met along the way, and suddenly their characters in your journey, their characters in your story, and their experiences you can only have in MMOs.
Yeah. And I've played a lot of MMOs. This is the only one that I've stuck with, and I think that I am going to continue sticking with it for a very, very long time.
Fantasy 14 is pretty sticky. It'll trap you in there. We're all flies, right?
Some servers more than others.
Sorry, I guess that wasn't a great comparison of just comparing Final Fantasy 14 to a fly trap, right? But that's all right.
No, the flip side is you're all stuck here with me now too. I'm not letting go.
Yeah.
What about you, Crow?
So, no, I actually really excited about this expansion, mainly because sitting here, what I think one more month or so, and I'm about to hit 9 years of playing Final Fantasy 14, which is, I mean, I don't even know how do you perceive such a large amount of time, all the experiences that I've had up to this point,
Mm-hmm.
and just recently, so I kind of off on a tangent. Husky just released a medley, like it actually dropped this morning, and
Yeah.
I was part of that. So kind of short story with that was like I had a really I really love music. Right, music has just been a really awesome thing, and to see it so celebrated as much as it is, both in the community aspect and through Soken and the sound team. I mean, like they are very passionate individuals. And they make so much incredible music, and then being able to participate in that, like I don't know, like I have a hard time sometimes because it's like you worry about like your quality or just like doing things, but like the fact that people can just get together and make something beautiful,
Yeah.
it's just
Right there with
that's
you, man. We're all crying.
Oh,
I didn't want to start, but I was like just
it's
Sorry.
it's
No,
funny.
you're good.
I was like, are you gonna be excited for the graphics? You guys gonna be excited for like the new jobs?
it's the journey.
No, my community and friends. Fuck the rest of the game. Who cares, dude? Gee, I only care about my friends. I don't give a shit what we're doing. Tic tac toe. Let's go.
Well, and it's just that's what's so crazy about it. Again, kind of building off of Moose's words about this MMO is only you can only have this kind of experience here because like I've met like found family members. Like I've met my girlfriend through the game. I met so many people through this amazing experience, and it's still going. We're hitting 10 years now, right? And they got a whole new venture, right? There's so many things to explore now, and you know what's next. That's what I keep thinking about. It's like what's next with the family, you know. So it's just really nice. The real Golden City is the friends we found along the way.
Right, we did it.
You guys have just
Yeah,
inspired me. This is how I'm gonna describe it from now on. Like, this is the only Final Fantasy where you really do get to kill God with your friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Several times
It's
if you
great.
keep going.
Definitely, if you
Right.
need the mount, you know.
Oh man, yeah, I could do anything for a mount collection.
Yeah, we kill a lot of gods for some mounts, some cute axolotls or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Wanted to ride a very fancy pony, so I killed God. What about you, Frosty? What's the thing that you're most looking forward to as far as Dawntrail as a whole goes?
I don't know. I just hope everything doesn't fall the fuck apart. That's it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, no,
We're gonna look real good though. That's what.
Like I have been doing Party Finder for like over a year now, in the same Savage tier, over and over daily, just constantly grinding out and fighting these same fights, helping people get clears and all this other stuff, and just like getting into that a new fresh Party Finder from day one, and experiencing all that again with all the hype and excitement and navigating through all that. I'm looking forward to the relentless amount of new content for me to do after like I started full-time streaming near the end of Endwalker, so I was in a lull when I started messing around with it. Now I'm going to be like in the busy period of it, and so it's going to be exciting to see how that feels. There's a lot of stuff that I need to do with the world race and organizing that stuff, and just working on my character in particular and trying to get it leveled up in my experience with the game, and also the ridiculous amount of things we're gonna have to talk about here on MogTalk. That's it, you know. It's good. It's good. There's just a lot coming at me all at once in 2 days. It's just a lot. You know, after surviving off of crumbs, it's like someone's like throwing like a dump truck of bread sticks on me, right? And you're just like,
As
all
there's
right,
only one. Like just really, really, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to it. I feel like I'm in the best spot I've been in with this video game that I've ever been in, and it's going to be interesting to see going on to the next complete arc of this game, how that's going to feel. And I'm excited for the whole new veteran, new player experience that Moose you're talking about a little bit. I'm excited for that too.
I especially want to see the reactions of the people who joined during the pandemic and came into a world that was already fleshed out and most of the way to the end, and they kind of blitzed it all out and did the end, but now they get to be here for the beginning to start a new journey. I'm really looking forward to seeing how excited they are to dive into something for the first time, knowing that we're seeing it fresh with them.
Extremely. That's the answer.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot.
But all right, well, that's pretty good. Unless there's anything else you guys wanted to bring up lore-wise before we wrap up the show. We've been here for nearly 2.5 hours talking about this stuff. Yeah.
Don't forget the tacos.
The tacos? Do you think the tacos are going to have a hidden meaning within the story itself?
The lore of the taco.
God damn it, dude. I will never get that moment out of my head where, like, out of the entire trailer, the moment everyone was cheering at FanFest was Grahatia eating a fucking taco, and I'm just like...
Every time.
It's insane. it's just a cat, dude, right? He's eating a taco. Oh. It's fine.
I got this for my stream setup when I start doing Dawntrail. I don't know if you can see it.
You can't make everyone happy. You're not a taco.
Specifically because of the event in FanFest where every single time cheered for the taco. I think this is a really good thing to remember.
Oh,
we're getting into Dawntrail.
Jeez.
It was an amazing looking taco.
Yeah. It looked really good in the trailer. So, all right. And guys, really look forward to the graphics update. You've seen videos of it. You've seen lots of comparisons, but you're not going to really feel it until you start playing the game. It's a whole different beast.
Just gonna stare for hours.
Make sure that you have enough space in your computer to download it, because this is going to be a very sizable patch, very large, bigger than any other expansion because of this.
Probably, yeah. I God damn it.
That memory space. Yeah, that's a good thing to remind people of.
Yeah.
Clear that space out.
Sorry, go on.
I'm that guy who has like his whole Steam backlog installed. Like, I'm gonna get around to it soon. I'm not gonna uninstall it yet. So I can probably clear out a good chunk of space without trying.
I was at the Distant Worlds in New York this past weekend, and like before they started the show, they had like Soken come on stage and go like, "Hey, make space for the patch, please."
That's amazing.
please make sure you have space for the graphics. Okay, enjoy the show. Like, that was how much they were emphasizing it. So I'm like, oh, I should probably check.
You know what? Scratch that, Em. No. Make sure your hard drives are full. I need as little people logging in when the servers come up as possible. So just like, don't be prepared. Don't be ready to log in when the servers come up. That would make me very happy. So just fumble it, mess up the login, and I'll be fine. All right.
Listen to the devil on your shoulder, Frosty MogTalk.
Yeah. I gotta get in that game, guys. I gotta get playing. All right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and wrap up here and close out. You guys have been fantastic to talk to. I really appreciate you all agreeing to come back, even with like a shorter notice here. I'm thinking, probably gonna have another story talk at some point. I just don't know which day.
We'll see how much tears we have to go through first, and then.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird doing a story talk after the expansion comes out because you're worrying about the spoiler stuff, but at the same time, people kind of know what they're getting into if they're gonna watch a story show after an expansion is released. So, I don't know.
We could have a story show, but intentionally say only wrong things.
The Hildebrand.
This is a Hildebrand themed MogTalk show where none of us are right.
I'd be okay with that. I think that'd be fun. All right. Well, with all that being said, Moose, where can people find you if you want them to find you?
Right now, you can mostly just find me on Discord and Twitter and Blue Sky and all that kind of stuff, lore forums, whatever. I'm hoping to get back into streaming more often pretty soon, but that was at Twitch TV/Onwell, ANWYLL. On Twitter, it's Anonymoose XIV. And Blue Sky is what? Lucifer Loring Star, I think.
Oh, it's good. Make sure it's different for each one. That's good.
Yeah, I want to unify. I do.
Okay. Is there any last words or anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to say before being done?
I just want to say, like, thank you for making this so enjoyable. I've been kind of like blah about it because I want to have that like fresh experience. And this was a lot of fun and helped kind of break me out of that mindset when I needed to be broken out of that mindset to actually have fun talking about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll break you out of whatever you need, dude. You go do something really wrong, I'll get you out of jail. All right. M?
On that
note, do you have anything that you want to say and let everybody know where they can find you?
I am nice and easy. I am M_Aram on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I don't really have much other to say. I promise not to post spoilers, at least in the first few weeks of the story, but if I end up going quiet and showing up with a cosplay, like just a few weeks after we finish the expansion, none of you saw it.
Okay.
Don't judge me for the speed at which I will crank something out if I really feel like it, because there is every possibility that happens.
You know, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for me to create a channel in the Discord that is. I mean, we have a spoiler channel in there, but maybe I could make, another one. I don't know, where it's literally only go in there if you finished everything with the expansion, and people can freely talk about it. When they're ready, just start spouting shit out there just to get it out of their head. Maybe we'll do that. Seems like a good idea. All right, Crow.
All right. Well, of course, thank you so much for having me on again.
Yeah.
It's always a fun opportunity, so I will backstory. Definitely was thinking about it in the last 3 hours before the show started to get this shirt on. So I ran to the Goodwill to buy this. So yeah, this was a last minute thing. But I just thanks for having me because it's just fun to be able to come and have this discussion about the lore and talk about the story, and then of course share these experiences with our fellow Final Fantasy 14 community. And always being able to talk with fellow players is always a joy. So thank you so much for that. Just huge shout out to that. And then for anyone that wants to know, of course, I mean, you can find me on YouTube, on Twitch. I haven't been live in a little bit. I told everyone online on Twitter and everything what's been going on. The general goal, if I'm actually cleaning things up. I'm fixing up my setup right now, and so I want everything like organized and ready to go before I start going live because I have a lot of stuff to cover. I have so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these things that just happened to release itself on June. Everything came out in June, and I'm like, no. See, you know what? I am going to cover everything, but I need to get organized first. So this is the attempt. Oh, and I don't know if you saw that. Like, there's a Mithra child, by the way, from 11.
I saw. Yes, I was perceiving her the whole time. Just so you know.
So we're slowly getting our collection all nice and presentable. So I'm excited about that. That's probably going to be a feature for the show. But just it's going to be a great time. In the meantime, if you want, I do have some videos covering Thrall. You can check that out on the channel. The Eslam Collate, ESSALIM. There you go. That's why I spelled that properly. And just look up lore on the YouTube channels. There's a bunch of creators out there that are doing really good coverage of this kind of stuff. I think you'll be really surprised because I think being able to cover these topics have been easier nowadays. More people are doing it. There's a larger group out there that are covering things, and it's really cool to see that. So all the people covering it, keep doing that. All the people that want to watch stuff, I promise you, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Some good creators out there doing lore coverage. So that's my thing. Just get ready for Dawntrail and learn new things. So
yeah. Oh, I was gonna bait you guys with one last question. I'm not gonna do it.
No, what was the question?
You don't want me. All right. What's your opinion on people saying it's okay to skip the story in Final Fantasy 14 and skipping A Realm Reborn in particular?
You're only cheating yourself.
Everyone in the world has a coupon for a free opinion, and they can exchange that opinion or that coupon for whatever opinion they want. And if they want to choose to be wrong, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. That was
awesome.
Okay. Okay. All right, guys. You've been fantastic. I don't know why I wanted to ask that really quick, but I should have asked her. It's fine. Guys, you've been fantastic. Go ahead.
One last shout out. Sure. Last shout out to everyone who stayed through the crunchy mic. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I heard it a little bit. I was like, it ain't that bad. It'll be fine. I didn't think about it. I mean, it really wasn't that bad. We could have easily dealt with it, but it was one of those things. I was like, if he heard it, he'd probably be like, I want to fix this. So
I literally I noticed that the mic was actually looking weird once you guys cued me to look over at it, and I literally just like touched the side of the USB port, and it just adjusted just enough to work just fine.
Perfect.
It's the first boss of a Solution 9 is down. Is defeating the microphone plugin. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Jeez. You guys have been fantastic. Even with the broken mic, whatever, I don't care. It's absolutely fantastic to have you on, Moose, every time. Thank you for coming on now. Crow, thank you so much for coming on as well.
Yeah, thank you.
It's always a really good conversation when we bring the three of you on. And Solution 9 was wonderful when we had that discussion, and now it's like no exception for today as well. So look forward to more, guys. More is coming. We'll I don't know how we're gonna unpack all that fucking story.
One piece at a time. We'll come back and we'll do more. We'll be like, hey, here's what we were wrong about.
Part 7. No, I was kidding.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for content, that's what we'll do. We'll break it into the Southern Tyrol arc, the Northern Tyrol arc, the post-Solution 9 Chaos
triangle
arc.
as we try to unpack it.
But
You break it down into arcs.
But I only do this every weekend, right? I don't have enough weekends.
You got 2.5 years of content you need to fill for Dawntrail. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
You got this.
All right. Well, on that note too, so for this stream in particular, the plan for tomorrow and Thursday while the servers are down, I have this idea. I'm going to try to make it work. I have to do some stuff tonight to figure it out. And then maybe starting tomorrow morning is to have a playlist of MogTalks over the last 9 or 10 years. Just play straight up all the way until servers come up. So you can get a preview of the conversations we're having story and lore-wise in Heavensward, Storm's Blood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker, all the way up to this one. Same thing with raiding. One for raiding for back then, one for raiding, and go on. And then some other relevant ones that we could throw in throughout that playlist. Since there's 48 hours of downtime, I could just go ahead and play a lot of this historical Mog Talks out there. So you can kind of get a feel for what it's like to go into another expansion in our previous expansions. So
nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll see. I plan to hopefully do that. Look forward to the stream being live tomorrow morning with that starting. If it's not fully fleshed out, follow me on Twitter. Final Fantasy. No, I don't have Final Fantasy. It's just Frosty TV stream, and then I'll have all my information posted there about it. You guys are fantastic for being here. Everybody watching, the guests, of course, and the union, of course, being out there and helping in the background all the time. And I guess, that's it. The last MogTalk of Endwalker. We're done. It's time to go. Let's get into Dawntrail, guys.
Adventure time.
All right.
We'll see you all in Tyrol.
Yeah. All right. Everybody say bye, wave. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you in Tyrol.